incredible amount of talent. Puerto Rico's music shows perfectly that mix between Taino, Spanish, and African influences like we mentioned earlier. From Arietos, Bamba.
Listen, while the chat pull up, I just went live. Listen, I wanted to say, while everybody pull up, we gotta tap into the Puerto Rican gang war, how it transpired and transgressed in Philly. Like, they ended up going at it. So it's all this Waymouth, the Waymouth Puerto Rican gang, and there's videos by American Confidential. But one moment, y'all. One moment. Hold on, chat. I'm gonna make sure the title and everything is correct. Hold on, chat. Here we go, chat. Now we back at it. My bad.
And salsa.
Yo soy el cantante.
The reggaeton. Blending dancehall and hip hop. Even though this music style actually originates from Panama, it was quickly adopted and broadly popularized in the island during the 90s. Afterwards, artists like Daddy Yankee and Bad Bunny have made Puerto Rico a global music powerhouse. Popularly known as La Isla del Encanto, or the Charming Island, Puerto Rico has a population of over 3 million people who, since 1917, have been U.S. citizens. This U.S. territory status and the citizenship that comes with it has caused a really widespread diaspora to emerge all over the United States, with approximately 6 million people of Puerto Rican origin in the states, making it the second largest Hispanic group. The Northeast and Florida are home to the majority of the population in the mainland United States, with cities like New York, Orlando, Miami, and Philly having the most significant concentration of Puerto Ricans in the major cities. So how does this culturally rich, paradisiac island in the middle of the Caribbean turn into this?
They turned that shit into Grand Theft Auto.
Over the years on this channel, we've tried to understand and expose how, while senseless violence in the streets is not random, decades of easy access to firearms, a failed/underfunded school system, redlining, and disproportional poverty concentration in certain neighborhoods of Philly can arguably be pointed at as some of the biggest factors leading to the violence the city has experienced in the last couple of decades. This is true for most, if not all, big urban areas in the U.S., where poverty and inequality are oftentimes denominators for the areas with the highest violent crime rates, as shown and proven by many studies. We've talked on how all these factors, combined with poor judgment, lack of guidance, and emotional management, can result in these young men who only know the violence and pain that comes with the lie of the street. When we combine all of that with the prevalence of social media in the last few years and the rise of drill rap, what we get is a recipe for disaster. Switches and ski masks, ops and rap disses, pain and death. This is the lie a lot of young men in urban areas fall into, and the consequences of these generational weights that keep a good portion of this population playing catch up with the non-criminal society. Whether you live in Puerto Rico or Philly, the effects of drill culture is the same.
Detrás del artista están la gente que está invirtiendo, están la gente que creyó en el artista y que son de la calle, sus chavos son de la calle, son un chilero, un narco, un esto, un lo otro y...
I ain't gonna hold y'all, this is why I aspired. I want them to start making videos. Like, I want to start making videos like this. Like, I want to get, like, master my craft for being a content creator.
Seguimos mandándonos otro cabrón y son 30 para que se pase. Y apenas verano y mis palos sonando por toda la metro.
Kilos de perico los compramos en Santo Tomás, los metimos en Puerto Rico.
Figura como persona.
Yo, I don't know what they be saying, but that should be just the beat be fire and you just be vibing like, okay, I don't know what he talking about though.
De interés en el asesinato del policía Eliezer Ramos Vélez.
La familia nunca muere, los que mandan Puerto Rico. Estamos flow YSL, pero evitando la ley Rico.
Se alega que lanzan cuerpos humanos a los animales.
Even though in the last couple of decades, Puerto Rico has become way safer and its murder rate in 2024 was one of the lowest amongst Caribbean countries and territories, violent crime statistics have remained high on the island, even relative to the rest of the U.S. According to authorities, around 80% of this violent crime is directly correlated to gang rivalries and drug trafficking. And while the general violent crime rate has been seeing a slow but steady decline, these gang-related clashes escalated to the point where, according to studies, over 1.7 million people, 52% of the population, are exposed to these gang wars. The island's privileged geographical location makes it the perfect transshipment point for moving drugs from the south to the north of America. Since it's a U.S. territory, once the drugs land in this natural paradise in the Caribbean, they are, for all effects, already on U.S. soil. This status as the perfect narco-trafficking on-ramp fuels the violence in Puerto Rico. The streets run deep on the island. With all crime and violence, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation was operating on a tight rope. And there was one prime example of the dangerous and fragile state of Puerto Rico's prison system. Rio Piedras, also known as El Oso Blanco or White Bear. with sometimes up to 20 inmates sharing a cell, an extremely violent environment with countless inmate murders, beheadings, and gang rapes on top of abusive power from the COs and their total impunity for all sorts of corruption.
Aquí es que duermen alrededor de 20 presos, aquí tirados en el piso en malas condiciones, ustedes pueden ver.
Yo me rompo con esa toalla.
Vean, como ustedes pueden ver, esa agua negra, ese canto de planchuela que está hinchando ahí, que se le puede caer encima a uno en la cabeza, puede tropear a uno de nosotros.
Esta es la galera que más está perjudicada y la sumaria abajo, que tampoco tienen ventilación. El problema que tenemos con la ropa, que tenemos que ponerla ahí, acomodar el lugar, cuando llueve se moja mucha de ellas, polvorín que hay.
Solamente tenemos la facilidad de que tenemos los toilets y un solo lavamanos. Que ninguna juez pueda convivir aquí, ya que el hacinamiento, pues, es algo que es macabro aquí dentro y constituye lo que yo diría aquí el desorden y el crimen dentro de las mismas cárceles de Puerto Rico. Y diría que el mismo pueblo de Puerto Rico tiene conocimiento de esto. Nos ha llevado a nosotros a convivir en una forma que yo creo que aparte de ser inhumana es como a nivel de decir de animales en general.
Remontándonos a la década de los 80 y hasta el presente, el hacinamiento en el Oso Blanco es inhumano y desató lo que se conoce como el caso Morales Feliciano, confinado ya fallecido, que demandó al gobierno de Rafael Hernández Colón por no solo hacinamiento, sino por cuidado médico inapropiado, falta de un sistema de clasificación y una planta física en deterioro.
Inmates didn't have any other choice but group in gangs in order to protect themselves from other inmates, gangs, and even the guards. There are stories about inmates playing soccer with another inmate's head.
Cuesta el asesinato de un confinado en la guerra de las gangas.
That's what they always said about.
Con penitenciaría estatal.
They always said about gangs, like it's a family thing. It always start out like protection, family, protect the community, and it just got out of hand.
Resulta que este confinado lo acorralan en una de las viviendas, lo matan y lo descuartizan y dejan el cuerpo regado por la vivienda en algunos sitios. Pero lamentablemente la extremidad encefálica, entiéndase la cabeza, la bajaron abajo y los presos comenzaron a jugar pelota con la cabeza. En un momento dado se da la orden y todos los presos vuelven a subir a las viviendas y la pelota se queda en la cancha. Los presos le dicen a un oficial de custodia: gobierno, mire, la pelota, que la necesitamos para mañana, que no se la vayan a perder, que la otra ganga no se la lleve. Y el compañero, pues, decide bajar abajo y buscar la alegada pelota. Cuando se está acercando, él comienza a entender que la alegada pelota no es otra cosa que la cabeza del confinado. Tanto fue el impacto emocional y psicológico en ese individuo que salió corriendo de la cancha. Hay algunos compañeros que me dicen que él cruzó los portones corriendo y gritando y tener una crisis nerviosa.
That's how in the late 70s and early 80s, two of these gangs.
My fault if y'all can't read it and I'm blocking it. I apologize. Basically, you're just talking about like how crazy the prison was. Like, this is just for that. I'm trying to move it out the way.
Gangs would be born, Los Nietas and Grupo 27. Even though they shared the same general goal, looking for safety and a somewhat better life inside those walls, they definitely had different approaches, at least publicly. Los Nietas were founded and led by Carlos Torres Iriarte, aka La Sombra, or Shadow, as not only a gang to provide protection from other gangs in the COs, but also a political activist movement calling for the right of every Puerto Rican inmate to have humane living situations, following a series of riots, uprisings, and strikes in prison.
Sombra tenía costumbre de pelear con los guardias, porque él decía que él era Ayatollah Khomeini, decía que era Don Pedro Visos Campos y decía que era Che Guevara. Y empezaba a gritar, neta, Puerto Rico tiene que ser libre. Empezamos a unirnos, y Sombra a gritar, neta, neta, neta. Bueno, que la asociación era para vivir en armonía, pelear contra el sistema carcelario, en las condiciones infrahumanas que se vivían antes.
That's obviously their version of events. On the other hand, Grupo 27, or Group 27, founded in July 1980, by Luis Pinella Pizarro, aka Chino Pinella, had a different strategy. According to the indictment, their main source of income consisted of extorting other inmates, charging taxes to those who brought drugs into the prison, or forcing inmates to make regular payments. They were also linked to the distribution of cocaine, heroin, marijuana, fentanyl, and other drugs within Puerto Rican prisons. Apparently, the gang also received substantial assistance from prison officials and from members of the organizations who were free on the outside. This methodology would eventually be copied, adopted, and expanded, becoming the model for prison gangs as we know them today in the United States.
Wow.
On March 30th, 1981, the leader of G27, Rafael Ayala Ortiz, aka Manota, allegedly, with the help of paid-off authorities, plotted Sombra's murder, helping to destabilize the Nieta. That afternoon, Sombra, who was accompanied by an officer who was in on the plot, was attacked on his return from the chapel, which was located just west of the recreational yard. He was stabbed in the chest, stomach, and back, and then shot by a .38 caliber pistol. He was pronounced dead sometime after sunset.
30 de marzo de 1981, lo mataron a Carlos La Sombra. Los muchachos bajan, lo cogen creyendo que está vivo, pero ya el hombre estaba muerto. Ya no había más nada que buscar. Ya el hombre era cadáver, pues tenía más de 6 o 7 puñales encima. Y el tiro en la frente. ¿Quién se va a salvar con eso? Nadie, difícil.
After the burial of their leader, the Nieta exploded into an all-out rampage and took over several wings of the prison compound. They brutally retaliated against G27's leader, Manota. After a few days of digging and chiseling their ways through the prison walls with spoons and their bare hands, they broke through the wall of Manota's prison cell and stabbed him over 150 times and cut his body into 84 pieces, allegedly. There were rumors that certain parts of his body were mailed to selected people. A severed finger to his mother, his ankle and foot were sent to the warden of the institution, and there were stories of his eyes being sent to G27's second in command. The rest of his body was never recovered. Both gangs grew exponentially and eventually expanded their reach, first into the streets of Puerto Rico and then the prison system and the streets of the East Coast of the mainland United States. They each had their own colors, moral codes, and gang signs and chants. Honestly, we can make a whole video just about El Oso Blanco, Nietas, G27, and everything that went down in the living hell that was that prison. It's a lot of crazy situations. So if this is something you would want to see in a video later on, let us know in the comment section. Back to the streets, the gang and drug-related violence between the different caseríos or housing projects would only intensify, like I said before. These all-out wars for the control of the streets have taken countless lives all over the island. In some cases, offering public housing up to 7,000 people, these caseríos became the perfect breeding ground for violence fueled by these drugs and gangs. Caserías like Sabana Abajo, Manuel A. Perez, Juana Matos, and many others have been suffering the effects of these conflicts for decades. This was extended all across the island, but its effects were especially brutal in the metropolitan area of San Juan. Powerful drug kingpins ran a lot of these projects, with turf wars causing a devastating increase in crime on the whole island. Law enforcement was both underfunded and corrupt equally, and the fight against these powerful enterprises was virtually impossible. The violence got to the point where even some of the most powerful and feared drug kingpins, or bichotes, on the island tried to establish some order in the chaos that the streets had become. The group La Ono was originally formed by Jose Lopez Rosario, also known as Coco Blin Blin. From there, Angel Ayala Vasquez, aka Angelo Miñones, or El Buster, and Pito Paz had joined the organization. The idea was for all drug traffickers to stop their turf wars and work together with a set of rules and regulations in order to form a powerful empire that cannot be overthrown by the Puerto Rican police. La ONU, a play of words with Spanish for United Nations, was established in 1995. La ONU controlled local gangs like Los Extranjeros, Los Anomales, and Bin Laden Records, coordinated shipments from Latin America, and by 2004, dominated drug trade across Puerto Rico. In 2009, Ayala Vasquez and 65 members were arrested with over $100 million taken in assets.
Ángel Ayala
Dang.
Vázquez llegó a
That's a
controlar
lot.
la organización de narcotráfico más poderosa en Puerto Rico, según oficiales federales y
Even though we seen more, we're not gonna act like that's not a lot.
locales. De acuerdo con la acusación en su contra, dominó puntos de drogas y suplió narcóticos en casi toda la isla, además de exportar a Estados Unidos.
Era como una leyenda urbana, un urban legend.
Según la acusación federal, Ángelo Millones lavaba sus ganancias comprando autos de lujo y de carreras, así como botes y casas. Lo hacía bajo los nombres de otras personas. Además, costeaba fiestas de Navidad con enormes tarimas y la presentación de reconocidos cantantes. Ninguno de esos artistas fue acusado.
Violence continued, including revenge killings targeting family members. Key leaders' deaths and arrests marked the group's decline, but members still remained involved in murders and trafficking. The stain of all that violence started to switch the focus of some urban artists who saw a void in the music game that until the early 2000s mainly featured danceable music for clubs, typically focusing on romantic and sexual themes. All that pain, death, and violence quickly translated into the music, especially with the fast rise of the urban genres like reggaeton, giving birth to its gangsta counterpart, maleanteo, with diss tracks being a very focal point. This was not only a way for artists to tap into a new and rapidly growing market in Puerto Rico's music industry by speaking about street affairs and even incorporating voice messages from local kingpins into their diss tracks.
Padre, déjatela caer que usted está con nosotros. Atentamente la ONU, Pito Paz. Pito Paz.
But also a way for wealthy street businessmen to launder their illegal profits through a legitimate business, with some even founding their own record labels. A lot of underground, up-and-coming young artists in Puerto Rico started hopping on this trend, which would steadily consolidate itself as a dominant style within the reggaeton sphere. Artists like Tempo, Baby Rasta, Ñengo, Kendo Capone, Archangel, Mexicano 777, Don Omar, Tego Calderon, or Daddy Yankee, among many others, made their signature sound from and to the streets. This was especially true for one of the pioneers of this movement, Hector Luis Delgado Ramon, better known by his artistic street name, Hector El Father. In 2004, he transitioned from a duo career with Tito El Bambino, where the music was aimed primarily to the clubs and appealing to the female audience, turning into the embodiment of the genre itself. Hector was well respected and was one of the prime figures of the early steps of this movement. He was infamously backed up and also probably funded by none other than Angelo Miñones, aka El Buster, Pito Paz, and their ONU syndicate. He referred to them on countless occasions in music by many different names, like the legendary Combo 70 or the Gang of 70, or they were also called the Disco Breakers.
Bling bling, esta es para el pana tuyo. Dile que Puerto Rico 100 por 35 y mandamos nosotros. Atentamente, la ONU. Oíste, y cuando rompo discoteca, vamos para la calle hoy.
En nuestra familia, las reglas son las reglas. Y el que la rompa pagará las consecuencias. Bostel, déjalos que se tiren.
The Godfather.
This song right here, if you go in Kensington, you will hear this song playing probably like 3-5 times out of the day. Probably more than that. All these songs.
Needless to say, having some of the most infamous names in the streets of Puerto Rico as basically his private security gave El Father a little bit of a god complex, often abusing his power to mess with artists' careers and dissing everyone. He also felt totally untouchable, having basically the equivalent of a small military company protecting him.
Padre, déjatela caer que usted está con nosotros. Atentamente la ONU.
Y'all hear that beat? That just sound like he's trying to take some shit over.
Para Father, él sabe quién soy yo. En nuestra familia, las reglas son las reglas. Y el que la rompa pagará las consecuencias.
Si lo vieran, como roncan y me tientan, pero se me embarran cuando vengan los 70.
This changed when some of the strongest allies and friends were either murdered or arrested and imprisoned over the years. All those years in the streets were catching up to Hector, and his ties with Angelo Mignonez and the other Bichotes, and also being accused of starting a shooting at one of his concerts. And it was at that moment when he decided to find God. In 2008, Hector El Father would retire, leaving behind his career as a reggaeton star, and he became an evangelic pastor, and he has been predicating the gospel ever since. And his influence in Puerto Rico's urban music genre is undeniable, with tons of artists quoting, mentioning, and paying homage to El Father.
Cuando ustedes me ven, yo sé que tiemblan. Tú no metes cabras a la mambiche. Tú no metes cabras a la mambiche.
Baby father como para los tiempos el Buster.
Antes de los diablos estaban los menores. Y antes de los menores estaban los rompediscotecas.
Actually, he's indirectly responsible for one of the biggest changes in the music industry's monetization on digital platforms due to one massive viral hit that, ironically, Hector never even made. I bet you that even if you've never heard of him before, you've heard his voice many, many times without even knowing it.
Con los terroristas. El terror con los terroristas.
That's right. That voice saying,
Con los terroristas.
that sampled at the beginning of one of the first viral sensations almost 13 years ago, the Harlem Shake, is Hector El Father. Maybe in the future we could do a deeper dive into La Onu and Hector El Father's
Never knew that. Check that out.
story if you guys think it would be interesting. With the fall of ONU's higher ups, a huge power void would be created on the island, on the drug scene, a void that would quickly be filled by other.
That was like the equivalent of the 6-7. Stroller on the 6-7 thing. That was his like criminal going viral with that.
Other organizations like Los Menores and Las FARC. The urban genre will only grow to new heights globally from here, and the connection between the music and streets would last and grow stronger to this day. During the early 2010s, complemented by the rise of Chicago drill, Malianteo would become a staple of Latin music, and endless artists would grow along with the genre. In a sense, Malianteo was drill rap before drill rap. They actually started talking, for example, about Glock switches way before their Chicago counterparts ever mentioned it.
Is right here. They actually keep this separated from the rest of the firearms. What did you call it? A chip. It's a chip, like a hack for your Glock. They put it right here, fits right in, and it makes this thing full auto, which is a felony.
Don't get no passes with your OG, it's still one of them. We got them glitches with the switches, this bitch stuttering.
And with the second coming of drill rap reaching new heights in popularity, a new wave of young Boricua artists would emerge, talking about their struggles in the streets and ready to take the genre by storm. One of these hungry young artists was Julian Enrique Ramos Carbia, better known by his rap name, Yaruza. Born August 8, 1998 in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, along with his twin brother Hector, who would end up being known as the producer Hydro. Both brothers grew up surrounded by the love of music and the harsh realities of the street. Their father was somewhat of an early buzz in that still premature reggaeton scene. Back in '96, Yaruza's father was artistically known as Bobby Jack, and he was part of the duo with the artist Chinito. They had a hit with the compilation album by DJ Chiclin, Los Más Buscados, or Most Wanted. Bobby and Chinito really had a buzz in that early reggaeton scene, and you can consider them even somewhat pioneers of the genre. In 1997, Chinito would get arrested in LA when he was trying to, quote, traffic some weed from the States back to Puerto Rico, when it's usually the other way around. With his arrest, the duo's career would be set on standby since Bobby refused to continue without his partner. But once Chinito was free and back on the island, their buzz was far gone, and the duo simply couldn't find that success again. So they just turned to the streets. In August 1998, Bobby Jack would welcome his twin children to this world, Hector and Julian. He would imbue in them his deep passion for music, which years down the road would definitely pay off. In 2007, the whole family moved to Florida. However, that same year, Bobby would be shot in his torso during a fight over a drug corner. The bullet hit one of his lungs and Bobby was medicalized for over a month. Unfortunately, he wouldn't make it and died in the hospital at 27 years old. Now a single mother had 3 children to take care of after such a tragic event. They would decide to move to Arizona where the family would settle down. Here's where Hydro and Yaruza would take their first steps in the music themselves. Hydro would start making beats and Yaruza writing bars. The Puerto Rican sound their father had inculcated in them would get mixed with the American influences of trap and drill. It would be this particular sound that in 2017 would get Hydro's name some relevance as a producer in the Puerto Rican scene, getting signed by the Hear This Music Records, and would finally start getting production credits and songs with big artists like Bad Bunny, Anuel, Becky G, Tempo, and many others. Even though he could have used his brother as an easy way into the industry, Yaruza had a different plan. He was talented and had clear vision. When he returned to the island to pursue his rap career, he didn't have any real connections. Still, he was well respected in his father's native Levittown.
Soy Yaruza, estoy aquí apoyando a los brodecitos, ¿no? Activo. Nací en Santurce y me crié en Carolina. Puesto para la música también, a
También tú le estás metiendo.
Puesto para la música.
Ok, tú dices que tú conoces a alguien que yo conozco también.
Conozco mucha gente que tú conoces, pero no vamos a hablar de eso.
After uploading a few freestyles, he began to gain notoriety and eventually dropped his first official release, a remix of Bryant Myers' song, Nganga.
Por eso es que yo ando con mi ganga, traficando como para los tiempos de arca.
In his first drop, Yaruza had already established a clear brand that would continue during his whole career, with his Moneyway label and movement being mentioned since this first release. From here, Yaruza, along with his brother Hydro, would start building a company, Moneyway, signing new artists from around their area, like Russell, Sayer, and collaborating in many songs like Negro with Russell.
Tú dices que no tienes miedo a morir, pues ven que la ca quiere darte un pasaje. Sí, bang, 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 bang.
Yaruza would go to jail for 3 months where he would start repping G27, and the color red would always be present in his videos, even putting it as part of his Moneyway brand. It was then that, through mutual friends, Hydro would meet a young Puerto Rican rapper who was living in Florida on a basketball scholarship and who would end up being one of the biggest artists on the island. This rapper was none other than young Chimmy. Born in San Juan, Puerto Rico in 1996, Chimmy grew up between La Casa and Yarin Torres in Santurce. According to himself, Chimmy would start rapping at 17 years old, recording songs that he would never release, even though some of them would somehow get leaked years later. Chimmy, as I mentioned, received a scholarship to play basketball in California at 19, and it was there in Orange County where he met Yamal, a student from Chicago, who would be his roommate, and who was also a rapper himself and had a homemade studio where he would record. Chimmy started to take music more seriously and stopped pursuing basketball as much.
Yo me fui a jugar baloncesto para allá, de Cau.
These Waymouth youngers. Chimmy and them, they definitely was out Waymouth. And be out Kensington.
Te lo juro por Dios, jugar básquet, becado para California. Y la mierda fue que me salí. Pegué a joder. Me encontré California, ya tú sabes que la marihuana hay un meneo cabrón allá. Me involucré en esa vuelta. Me salí de la universidad y me quedé como 5 años por California. Me olvidé de Puerto Rico por el carajo. Esa esclavitud de estar entrenando y jugando básquet todo el tiempo, no estaba en esa, en verdad.
He allegedly recorded a couple songs fully in English, but it wasn't until 2019, after leaving Cali and going back to the island, when he would see an opportunity in the bubbling Latin trap wave that had the island on lock. Yaruza and Chimmy met and instantly clicked. They would hang out in the studio and streets, and it was Yaruza's recently found success that would make Chimmy start uploading freestyle videos to Instagram. Yaruza would grow closer to Chimmy, and they would start hanging around the guys from Yarin Torres. Shortly after these freestyles started gaining some traction, Yaruza convinced Chimmy to actually go to the studio. There, they would record Bloody in 2020, even though the song wouldn't drop until years later. Yaruza's name was trending since he had already dropped 3 songs, with him being one of the very first artists to ride the drill wave that expanded worldwide after Pop Smoke's stellar rise, solidifying the sound in Puerto Rico. At this point, he was basically seen as the face of the new generation. Eventually, Chimmy would reconnect with an old childhood friend he used to play ball with, Davey, who, after seeing Chimmy's IG freestyles, would invite him to record in New York. You can see Chimmy in the background of Davey's first video. They would record an EP, Los Diablos. Up until this point, everything looked amazing for the whole Moneyway music side of things. They were ready to take the Latin music world by storm. But on November 19, 2020, everything would change when, in a dramatic turn of events, on the same basketball court in Levittown where Bobby Jack once met Chinito back in the day, Yaruza would die after being shot. Yaruza was killed in an incident reported around 9:14 p.m. on Thursday 19, 2020 at the basketball court located in Calle Cinco in El Naranjal housing complex in Levittown, according to police. Authorities found the body of 22-year-old Yaruza at the scene after receiving a 911 call reporting gunshots.
Las autoridades reportaron un tiroteo anoche en Levittown donde un hombre falleció y otro resultó herido. Al momento se desconoce la identidad de las víctimas. La policía se encuentra investigando los hechos para dar con el móvil de este incidente.
The circumstances around Yaruza's death are still kind of unclear, and the murder was never solved as far as I can find. But word on the street is that Yaruza was trying to bust a trap and it went wrong, and the situation escalated to fatal heights. Also, the people who did it allegedly met a similar fate shortly after. There are just rumors, however, but I felt like I had to mention. The internet's reaction to the news of Yaruza's passing was instantaneous, with tons of friends, family, and fans sending condolences and showing their respects to who would be considered by many the face of PR drill from now on. 2 weeks after Yaruza's death, all his fellow Moneyway artists and friends like Sahir, Jonah, Palermo, Russell, KK, Davey, and Chimmy would collaborate in the tribute song Rest in Peace Yaruza. All the verses pay homage to Yaruza's vision and show love to their fallen friend.
Morigua y la ruta el dinero. Arriba el pulgar y pañuelo rojo, que Dios te reciba el imploro.
Arriba, pañuelo rojo y estamos de luto. Con los diablos de rojo y esos cabrones van a quedarse brutos.
Pues yo le canto al que vive porque muerto no me va a escuchar. Por un error ellos pagaron y tú no quieres morir igual. Ya te lo dije, probo villaca.
Yo le canto al que vive porque muerto no me va a escuchar. Por un error ellos pagaron y tú no quieres morir igual. Ya te lo dije, probo villaca.
This was Chimmy's first appearance in an official release. In his verse, he reflects on the news and promises to continue Yaruza's legacy and the Moneyway movement, making it global.
Ya ni escucho bloody, me dan ganas de llorar, pero confía el video como quiera lo vamos a sacar y vamos a coronar. Acá abajo te voy a recordar, vas a ser mundial, con tu música te lo van a mamar. Del money tenemos la ruta, el bro nos dejó la batuta.
Spoiler, Chimmy actually kept this promise.
Y'all can't say that shit don't sound hard. Y'all cannot say that.
Chimmy would get even closer to Hydro, and they started working hard to make sure Yaruza's legacy would live on. His death was a pivotal moment for Chimmy's career, and it would be in February of 2021 when Chimmy would finally make his solo debut with the song Glizzy Walk, which currently sits at 3.2 million views, and it was a hit. This track would set the expectations for Chimmy, talking about drugs, guns, and crime over an Atlanta trap type beat.
Te damos los tiros a suerga, así en el campo Mario Kart, un BBN en swipe de card. Por eso con los míos soy bien discreto, todo lo que pasa se queda en secreto, y si como yo, como el coro completo.
But this wasn't really what Chimmy's sound would end up like at all, to be honest. But his second song, Blizzy, though, is a lot more style defining for Chimmy. This was yet another Hydro beat, this time a New York drill beat. He's a lot more braggadocious and talks about Satoshi. And this is also the first time we hear Chimmy really speak about being around bosses,
Braggadocious is crazy,
trafficking kilos, and murder. He mentions Lo Del Dribble and Moneyway, and more importantly, his Casario, Yorens Torres, and the gang that would eventually define his career, Los Diablos.
Fronteira y sacamos las glizzy, o en el norte con las blicky. Ganshi boy, relacionado con los diablos, cabrón, pregunta dónde soy. Hablando de cata con los mexicanos, hablando de kilos sentado con los domis. Si no por bote por el océano, un túnel de tierra como bombones.
His third drop, ATL, would be a show of versatility on Chimmy's end. With an old school reggaeton beat, also produced by Hydro, the song was well received by fans, and Chimmy started gaining some real hype around his name.
En la disco con los que mandan, en el VIP dólares gang gang, más estado que los de Atlanta. De Lloren hasta Playita, las casi las margaritas, los canales, las motoritas, las glop y las ermitas, el trio 5, Moneyway con los del Dri, el ambiente está pesado, en el VIP todo el mundo armado.
A lot of people started looking at the young artists from your ends as the next prospect. And to understand what will come after this, I think first we need to learn a bit about the Residencial Luis Llorens Torres. Built in the 1950s in the Santurce neighborhood in San Juan, the public housing complex, Llorens Torres is the biggest caserío in Puerto Rico with 2,600 apartments distributed and 140 towers with an estimated 7,000 to 8,000 inhabitants. But some sources like Univision give population numbers of up to 25,000 people. After its initial inauguration in 1953, Llorens Torres rapidly became a site of concentrated poverty and structural inequality, representing the result of over a century of exploitative U.S. housing and economic policies carried out spent despite dangerously failing infrastructure. Frequent.
Hey, Dana, I apologize. For some reason, my chat's not popping up. The fact that I got the mobile version and the regular version is like bunch of different chats, and like I'm not gonna do it next time. I'm gonna just have it come from. But hey, what's up? I do see that. How are you?
When flooding and severe damage from Hurricane Maria in 2017, the neighborhood remains home to vibrant, tight-knit communities that continue to adapt and to overcome these structural and socio-economic challenges. And of course, with both the municipal and federal government's poor handling of the situation, the projects became a hotspot for drug dealing. During the late 90s and early 2000s, while Hector LaFada was still on his wild run in the industry, the boss, or Bachete in Llorens, Luis Rodriguez Isaac, better known as Chacal, would be part of the ONU organization and act as Hector's private security with El Campo del 70. The alleged owner of several stash houses had his headquarters in Calle 4/4th Street and was said to have a firm grip on the project, allegedly controlling 80% of the market and making millions. Over the years, Chacal would get arrested for several charges ranging from gun possession to murder and would be immersed in several turf wars. Chacal's Calle 4 gang would allegedly be responsible for over 25 murders in this war and other unrelated conflicts. The consequences of this lifestyle would finally catch up to Chacal.
God damn.
In February
25, though.
of 2010.
And listen, y'all, this all got to do with that federal indictment on Waymouth.
Die in a triple homicide shooting in front of a bar in Isla Verde.
La matanza de 3 individuos vinculados al narcotráfico se dio a plena luz del día en la marginal Villamar cuando desconocidos presuntamente le bloquearon el paso al vehículo donde se transportaban las víctimas, iniciando la balacera. Entre los occisos se identificó al presunto dueño de uno de los puntos de drogas en el residencial, Luis Llorens Torres.
En esta escena hay 2 personas muertas. Uno de ellos, Luis Rodríguez, conocido como el Chacal, que era el dueño del punto de droga de Calle 4 en Llorens Torres, una persona que había sido arrestada y estuvo presa federalmente.
El sábado, la guerra por el control del narcotráfico y lo que parece ser una venganza por una muerte ocurrida hace un tiempo revivió en el residencial Llorens Torres de San Juan, cuando a Luis Rodríguez Isaac, de 29 años, apodado El Chacal, un ex guardaespaldas de reggaetonero El Fader, y alegadamente quien mantenía control de los puntos del sector del caserío conocido como la Calle 4, cayó muerto ante una lluvia de disparos lanzados desde una van que le interceptó y de donde se bajaron 4 individuos enmascarados con armas largas. Murieron en el hospital sus acompañantes Carlos Rubén Morales, Encarnación, de 26 años, su papá de 45, y resultó herido Christopher Cruz, de 26, apodado Tuti, quien se mantiene estable en centro médico. Se supo que la policía, que llegó rápido al lugar, evitó que sicarios se llevaran los cuerpos.
Chacal's death definitely heated up the streets in Llorens, and his funeral was huge and had a massive police presence, even closing part of a highway for the funeral procession.
Policías estatales y municipales de la capital escoltaban la comitiva fúnebre por tierra y aire, comitiva que salió hacia la Valdoriotti de Castro evitando pasar por donde opera el grupo de los 21 y las Balbinas, con los que los occisos tenían. Valdoriotti de Castro, por donde serían transportados los féretros, fue cerrada al tránsito hasta la salida al túnel Minillas. Los vehículos pasaron a toda prisa por los elevados, pues es en esa parte del residencial donde operan las organizaciones rivales. La importante vía estuvo cerrada por unos 15 minutos. La comitiva llegó al cementerio municipal de San Juan al mediodía.
After Chacal's fall, with Calle Cuatro's main players out of the picture, Calle 20 quickly grew in numbers and control of Llorens, with Rafael aka Chio Barita being one of the most feared and infamous faces in this gang. He was friends with legendary artist Kendo Capone and would appear in songs showing his backing for the rapper. Under Cheo Beretta's leadership, Calle 20 would be a part of the powerful and feared nationwide drug syndicate known as Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Cantera, or short for Las FARC, even though its power would extend across the whole island and even internationally. Unlike La ONU's consensus-based structure trying to protect each other against the government and authorities, Las FARC was formed by several independent local factions that controlled different areas of the island without a head leadership, but rather territorial bosses. Different parts of the gang are in a constant power struggle amongst each other for control of the trafficking routes. Originally formed in 2006, Las FARC adopted the motto La Familia Nunca Muere, or The Family Never Dies, which they use in music and chains, amongst other places. Mentioned and referenced by endless artists through the genre's history, Las FARC is still one of the most powerful groups in the whole Caribbean to this day.
¿Te acuerdas los de la FARC? Te mandan saludos a ti también. Dicen que estás loco de verte. Ando con un full como el oriental de la FARC.
El gobierno me quitó el caserío, pero nos expandimos. Atentamente la FARC, Bayamón.
La familia no muere la FARC y no te tengo que roncar.
Par de cabrones que me quieren dar, pero guerrear conmigo es guerrear con la FARC.
Es la familia nunca muere, ¿oíste? Ya.
Somos muchos y eso les duele, que la familia jamás se muere.
The gang is most known for its violence, and according to the FBI, they're involved in at least 50 murders since 2006. Rumors and legends abound. One story says they would leave their victims' corpse in hidden areas in Laguna de San Jose, where alligators or caimanes would dispose of the bodies, but this has never been confirmed.
That's some Pablo Escobar shit.
A esta ganga violenta.
That was real. That's not bad. Pablo Escobar was doing that.
Llamó la atención que cogían a sus víctimas y los cuerpos, cuando los mataban, se los tiraban a los caimanes. De hecho, este caso primero se llamaba Operación Cocodrilo. Ahí están viendo la violencia de esta peligrosa ganga.
Internal disputes were a key sticking point for the group. There was one in November of 2015 that would lead to Cheo Beretta's death in a shooting incident on the streets of Santurce. This was allegedly one of those inner divisions within Las FARC led by Vladimir Natera Abreu, which ended up taking control over Llorens Torres. Ever since 2015, Las FARC has been in control of the housing complex. Vladimir had been living in the Dominican Republic since 2018, evading capture. Dominican authorities, acting on an arrest warrant, tracked him for several days before arresting him along with his lieutenant, Josette Rivera Verdejo. His capture was challenging due to his slippery nature, frequent changes in appearance and movement through wealthy neighborhoods in Santo Domingo. Authorities believed he was not running things from the Dominican Republic, but sometimes conducted operations from there.
Era alrededor del mediodía de este domingo cuando fiscales y agentes adscritos a la DNCD se presentaron a la Torre Roma 20 del exclusivo sector Evaristo Morales. ASIN están identificadas como Joseph Omar Rivera Verdejo y Vladimir Natera Abreu.
He is also suspected of a hit on infamous third in command of Las FARC, Carlos, aka Tonka, in 2017, and artist Kevin Frett in 2019. Also, influencer Isadora Pinky Curvy, who was 24, was shot dead in Hatorrey, Puerto Rico, while leaving a restaurant. She had been indicted in 2019 for alleged ties to Las FARC.
Oh, wow.
En las imágenes grabadas con una cámara de vigilancia se ve un auto rojo persiguiendo la camioneta Tacoma, donde viajaba la influencer junto a su actual pareja. En medio de la ráfaga de balas se ve al chofer correr y entrar a un negocio para pedir ayuda. El vehículo recibió más de 80 impactos de bala que terminaron con la vida de Pinky Curry. Ella no sobrevivió al ataque armado de presuntos sicarios. La vida de alias Pinky Curry no estuvo libre de controversias. Según informes de la policía, detrás de su vida en redes se escondía un historial criminal. En febrero de 2019 se entregó al FBI y fue enjuiciada bajo acusaciones de narcotráfico junto a 75 personas más, pertenecientes a la pandilla de narcotraficantes conocida como Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Cantera. El auto de los criminales fue hallado con orificios de bala también. La policía aclaró que Rivera Pérez, pareja de la influencer, no tenía récord criminal y se encuentra recuperándose en un hospital bajo la protección de la policía. Según él, los sicarios habrían querido rematarlo en el centro médico.
Yarens Torres would fall under the Caguas area of control. Carlos Miguel Cotto Cruz, a.k.a. Oasa, who was facing multiple charges, including drugs, guns, and even domestic violence. In addition, he had 2 arrest warrants for murder. He would be arrested in Orcovis in a joint effort by Puerto Rican police and the FBI on May 7, 2021.
Desde 2018. Estaba fugitivo de las autoridades, tiene 2 órdenes de asesinato. 7 de enero de 2021, doble asesinato ocurrido.
2021, like during that pandemic times, they wanted shit was shut down, wasn't it? Or was that after?
Pueblo de San Lorenzo. Tentativa de asesinato y ley de armas para ese tiempo. En adición, tenía orden de arresto, una revocación de probatoria federal. Y era buscado por las autoridades. Sumamente peligroso. Este individuo es el líder de una organización criminal en Caguas y tiene también ramificaciones en el área de Cantera, en Atorrey. Hoy el trabajo, al intervenir con este individuo, se ocuparon 2 kilos de heroína, 10 kilos de cocaína, 6 libras de marihuana, 10 cargadores de pistola, 2 cargadores de rifle, una pistola Glock alterada para disparar y alrededor de 1,000 municiones de rifle.
And it was here with the fall of Wasa when his Tulu.
Did that just say 1,000 rifles? 1,000 though? What the fuck? And that could be ARs, rifle could be any caliber rifle. Like, what the fuck?
Lieutenants Gordo Casco and Luis Daniel Garcia Hernandez, aka Elede or Enano, would step up. Elede, also known as Megatron, would be a key figure for the career of the latest, most promising artist from the Caserío, Yarens Torres. He would back up Chimmy's career and would eventually be his manager. Chimmy would start flexing his connection with Elede's small set within Las FARC, Los Diablos, and songs, but didn't commit to fully embrace Los Diablos as his own brand at first, at least not yet. On August 20th, 2021, Moneyway would roll out Yaruza's posthumous album, La Ruta del Dinero, Moneyway, a highly anticipated release by the fans. The album has a ton of Moneyway features, but his feature with Young Chimmy, called Bloody Remix, was his first song with Yaruza and a standout.
Tráigame la soda y el baking, and I'ma whip that bitch, él te está vendiendo más que Wish.
It would also include the song La Cara del Drill, The Face of Drill, a song that would further solidify him as one of the pioneers of the genre. But the day before the single came out, veteran PR rapper Tempo would drop the song El Rey del Drill, which was a pretty obvious shot at the late Yaruza and the whole Moneyway movement, especially if we consider that, as we mentioned earlier, Tempo and Hydro had worked together in the past. So he was more than likely well aware of the situation with Hydro's twin brother.
Listen, y'all wonder why I'm watching it? This all ties into them Ray and Kensington and that, like, while all this was going on, they're heavily in Kensington. One of the members that got killed in Kensington, all this was reported.
Yaruza. Chimmy didn't take kindly to the disrespect that the title and timing posed for his dead friend's legacy, and it would only be 3 weeks later when, on September 14th, he would respond to Tempo and defend Yaruza in Drill's Elder, dissing Tempo, addressing the situation, and asserting Yaruza's place as the real face of drill in Puerto Rico. He would also mention a very specific slogan and group for the very first time, making it obvious his street affiliations were rapidly growing. The diss song from this up-and-coming artist towards a staple name of the genre went viral, and it would mark the beginning of Young Chimmy's run to stardom. And as he promised to Yeruza on his tribute song, this rise would be quicker than anyone could have expected. Elede would really start back in Chimmy's career, since he recognized this as a good opportunity to get into some clean, legal dollars, and Chimmy would return the favor, showing more and more support for his friend's street gang. In October of 2021, Chimmy would drop Glizzy Walk 2.0, and this would set the tone for what would be Young Chimmy's persona all throughout the rest of his career. We see Chimmy posted in Yaren with his guys and a lot of bikes behind him. We also finally hear him personally claim Los Diablos de Yarens.
En Lloren soy como los baby en Atlanta. A ti no te creen nada de lo que cantas. Las moli te borramos el rostro. Gang.
Entraron al residencial Luis Llorens Torres, aunque no eran bienvenidos.
Dólares gang, Santurce Lloren, los diablos con la clopa encima. Doble L, 140 Tower, los diablos. Doble Lloren, que puta, los diablos de la metro. Gang.
Chimmy's career would take off from here, and that's when he, along with his powerful new manager, Megatron, would found their own independent record labels, Glizzy Gang and 140 Towers, named in honor of the 140 towers that make up the housing projects. They would set up recording studios in the heart of the Caseríos, which they would baptize
these PR project babies
as the Bunker. The Bunker was made to appear to be a bar.
Pero aquí es donde graba Young Chimmy. El búnker. La familia.
Damn. I ain't hold you, y'all. Did he say that's the crib?
Nunca muere. Ese es el eslogan de ellos. 140 Tower es el sello como tal. Ese es el sello creado por LD.
And with Chimmy's next release in February 2022, Baby Father, we would see Chimmy's transformation complete and history go full circle. Over this Detroit beat, produced by Hydro, Young Chimmy would totally embrace Los Diablos de Yarens, showing off big racks, Lamborghinis, riding ATVs with the gang around the housing project, and famously declaring himself the baby father, comparing him to the way Hector was moving like a boss on the island almost 20 years ago, and even mentions the infamous drug pen and leader of the ONU, Angelo Meñones, aka El Buster.
El baby father como pa' los tiempos el Buster, la ganga en el club, los diablos lloren, security ni chequeó. Les quiero ver la cara cuando traigo un Lambo a calle 4 y celebremos con Buchanan y los Dracos en el bando. Vamos a limpiar los chavos cantando en el buff y todas las putas están llamando. No, en el bunker facturo con el enano.
And to be fair to him, we can all agree we were starting to see some parallels already. And we could also see Eladio Carrion, a prominent name in the genre and friend of Hydro, seen in this video, foreshadowing a future remix of this song which would forever change Chimmy's life. But we are getting a little ahead of ourselves. The song went absolutely crazy, and Young Chimmy was already becoming a well-known name in the Latin music world, with his combo Los Diablos de Yarens becoming somewhat of a viral sensation. The next few releases would solidify Chimmy's image by appearing with LD in music videos and starting to wear LFNM/Las Farc chains. On March 26th, during a police raid in Yarens Torres, 5 people were arrested, including a 15-year-old minor at the bar/recording studio. Officers seized 11 guns, over 600 rounds of ammunition, more than $7,000 in cash, drugs, 2 cars, and 2 motorcycles. Hydro escaped charges this time.
Listen. Hold on, y'all. Let me make the chat big. I can see the chat on the screen. For some reason, I can't. Hey, what's up? That's a long name, sis. I'm gonna call you Quintavious. I can't pronounce that, child. But what's happening?
They would later continue using the studio or El Bunker regardless. It would be on April 4th, 2022, when Chimmy would drop the remix Glizzy Walk 2.5 with Eladio Carrion. This music video would be recorded in NYC, and it was there where he would link up with one of the future members of Los Diablos, Slater. From here, Chimmy would finally be seen as the hottest new artist in the genre, even getting to remix his other hit song, Baby Father, with legends of the movement like Nango Flow, who came up with Hector himself, and Archangel, who infamously was slapped by Hector El Father back in the early 2000s, and apparently still held the grudge against the now long retired rapper turned evangelist pastor. He since changed his lyric and even the hook to remove any references to El Father from his whole verse, switching it up to Baby Arca instead.
En el Hellcat te prendemos el helicóptero. El baby alca como para los tiempos el Buster.
Shimmy was nothing short of an international star at this point.
So it's Quintavious Che.
And his name was getting hotter and hotter. The success that him, Hydro, and the late Yaruza were searching for all these years was finally at their fingertips. And obviously, as it always is the case with these stories from the streets, this is when everything would go south. On May 17, 2022, a federal grand jury in Puerto Rico indicted 41 gang members from San Juan for drugs, guns, and conspiracy charges. The FBI, Puerto Rican police, DEA, ICE, and the U.S. Marshals collaborated for this major drug bust in different housing projects. Authorities said the group sold kilos to the U.S. mainland.
What's good? What's good? What you on? What you on? I peeped. Quintavious is a boy, is a guy's name, right?
Group used Airbnb rentals and abandoned apartments to store drugs, money, and weapons, using violence as a main tactic to maintain control. Among those charged were Gordo Casco and LD. According to police reports, during the investigation, members of Los Diablos received drug shipments transported by boats arriving from Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. If convicted on the drug charges, could be sentenced from 10 years to life. If convicted of both the drug and firearm charges, the people arrested face 15 years up to life in prison. It's presumed that they were forced to forfeit over $58 million. Elade would be mentioned on many occasions by Chimmy and them, appearing in a jail video call, audio recordings, and by gifting Chimmy the Megatron chain. The imagery of Los Diablos continued taking shape. Chimmy even dropped a song called Megatron, using one of the phone calls with his incarcerated boss as the intro.
Nosotros somos el escuadrón de dos desérticos, huele bicho. El case completo de rojo, cabrón, la falla, atentamente LD, el Megatron.
It's also worth mentioning, LD would also drop a few songs himself, bragging about his status and activity in the streets.
Tengo mucha gente en contra, pero saben que tengo power, nadie me ronca. Me creo presidente porque salgo con la escolta.
Listen, you in Kensington, you bound to hear that song.
With the boss, Elade, now incarcerated in federal prison, it would be Christopher Pabon, or El Chef, who would command the Caserío. It would be via El Chef that Los Diablos got their ties to Philly. Chimmy would continue to have an amazing 2022 and beginning of 2023 in music, where he would collaborate with some of the biggest names in the game, like Ñengo Flow, Luar Lael, and even being the first Boricua artist to produce a Gangsta Grillz mixtape along with legendary DJ Drama. On this mixtape, we can find Chimmy's first song with an up-and-coming Puerto Rican artist who, even though would be friendly with Chimmy for years, would eventually turn into the face of the other side of the war, Hades 6'6". At this point, it's fair to say that Chimmy was at the top of the Latin drill/trap music industry. He'd get features with the biggest names in the game, like Archangel and Bad Bunny. He was
Bro, they beefing something serious. And both sides got money and big egos.
Doing interviews with every outlet, and his name was guaranteed clicks. It was at this point where Chimmy would meet some of the new artists and producers that would shortly click up and become tightly affiliated to, if not part of, Los Diablos. Amongst other young rappers from the Sabana, Abajo, Caserío, and Catalina, Cidobleta, also known as El Diablo Blanco or the White Devil, who had risen to local celebrity for uploading IG Reels, popping willies with his bars used as background music. He started taking his craft more seriously in 2023 and started dropping solo songs that rapidly gained him a reputation amongst the island's new school artists. Chimmy and Cidobleta would become very close, and in October 2023, they would drop KDP, a song that would propel both artists' careers even further.
Kilos de perico, los compramos en San Tomás, los metimos en Puerto Rico. Los compramos en RD y en San Tomás, saca el palo, doblete pa' que tú veas, no se asoman.
Slater, real name John Williams Santana Garcia, was born in Puerto Rico. His father was killed when he was just 1 year old, and his then 17-year-old mom moved to New York City. Slater was already trying his luck as an artist, but would mainly rap in English. He has a couple songs featuring somewhat known artists in the United States rap game like Sada Baby and Youngin Ace. But more notoriously, he was in a 2021 song with two New York drill staples, 26AR and K-Flock, in the heights of the Bronx drill wave.
Keep a 4-5 on me, I ain't fighting. Back then I was terrorizing indictment. All I do is get high and dodge indictments. So my brothers stay smart, not dangerous. Cause a dangerous nigga get whacked, and a dangerous nigga might lack.
EBK, DOA, GBG babies. We throw choppers like this at the Navy.
All my niggas scammers, so they robbers. Pull out the 30, give me $1. I'll take your wifey, put her in Prada. Pop the perky on my way to get some lean in Jersey. She gave me head for like 10 minutes, then I fucked for 30.
In August of that year, he would drop Zombies, a music video recorded in Philly where we could see Pressure and his brother, Panza, at around...
Panza, this is the one that got killed. They on Weymouth. Panza got killed.
The same time, in that same small street called Weymouth in the Kensington neighborhood in Philadelphia, two young artists would emerge out of nowhere and be added to the roster. Obviously, I'm talking about Sombra and Pressure, who had both just dropped their respective debut songs.
They the YNs of Weymouth. Like, them right there. Wow, when I used to be heavy on Weymouth, they was kids. And then they ended up growing up, coming in the, like, we talking in 2019, 2016, 2017, all the way up to 2021, to the height of this, they was kids.
Songs, Pantracito and VVS Switch, that would quickly make the Philly duo a strong name. The circumstances around how these two came up, especially Pressure, were shady to some. Accusations of biased views flew, with VVS Switch being his first song that immediately went viral and received millions of views, sitting at over 70 million views at the moment of this recording. The fact is that Pressure was already wearing the Megatron chain, and mentioning Los Diablos in his first ever music video was noteworthy. It's also worth mentioning that El Chef, Pressure's manager, is from Llorens Torres. He actually got shot in April 2023 with an intense shootout that left 3 young people injured near the Luis Llorens Torres projects.
Una posible venganza. Ese es uno de los ángulos que investiga la policía sobre la balacera ocurrida anoche en el residencial Luis Llorens Torres, acá en la zona metropolitana, y que dejó el saldo de 3 personas heridas, una de ellas de grave.
It's all over. It's a war between 2 factions, 2 blocks, and it started from, I believe so, like, it started from the city, and it ended up like you know, in PR in Puerto Rico. I was about to say trickle. I ain't want to use that word. I'm about to use it, but it ended up trickling into PR because both of these factions from Puerto Rico.
Gravedad. Estas víctimas han sido identificadas hasta el momento como Jirel Santiago Colón, de 19 años, Christopher Pavón Pietri, de 21, y Christopher Cruz Carrasquillo, de 23.
It's not Mexican either. It's the Puerto Rican jewelry, bro.
Años. Según la policía, testigos aseguran que vieron a varios sujetos llegar al lugar en distintos autos y comenzaron a abrir fuego contra un grupo de personas. En la escena se ocuparon múltiples casquillos de bala de distintos calibres.
This whole beef started from 2 blocks getting money. One block being in Kensington, another block being in like another area of Allegheny. They met at, like, it was a party, a fight. Somebody ended up getting killed that night, and it started a whole love feud.
Así como un cargador.
This connection, Puerto Rico to Philly, would go on to call themselves Los Diablos de la W, and would be key in the upcoming wars Los Diablos would find themselves in, both on the island and in the United States. All of these artists, along with producers like Gecko, would sign to Glizzy Gang, Chimmy's personal label, and would form a really dangerous group both in and outside the music game. It's worth mentioning that, like Yoruza and Megatron before them, most of these artists, including Chimney, also claimed the prison gang, G27, and would reference it.
Those both my Instagrams right there. Kenzo215 Picasso and Art of Addiction TV on Instagram. Both of them.
Constantly in their music.
Glizzy Walk, los tiro en la garganta. El R rojo 27 como Santa.
Rojo 27, me canto si caigo preso, ey, ey.
Y el bitch and disrespectful. Tengo un intrate full. Siempre de rojo 27 como Deadpool.
Cidobleta is the only exception in Los Diablos, identifying himself as Nieta instead. In August 2023, Moneyway would release Yaruza's second posthumous studio album titled Coda. It was accompanied by a promotional trailer that featured probably the only wholesome moment in this whole documentary, where we can see Yaruza's son, who lost his dad when he was just a baby, being held by his uncle Hydro, while a nice marble bust of Yaruza is revealed. This would also be featured on the album's cover art, where we can see baby Euro softly strokes his dad's face again. However, the wholesome times wouldn't last long, as on October 31st, 2023, Cidobleta, one of the recent additions to Los Diablos lineup, would get arrested along with 3 other young men during a raid at the Cafe Claro nightclub in Santurce. Following a search warrant for a Cherokee SUV, authorities seized 2 9mm guns modified with switches, as well as magazines, ammunition, and a pig mask. They refused to talk, but signed something allowing the feds to check their phone's content. And the feds got pictures and messages, including pictures of guns that would later be related to a cop's murder. This decision would come back to bite the whole gang in the ass.
Oh, you see now? They involved some heavy shit.
Chimmy would allegedly take care of all lawyer expenses for this case, and Cidobleta would be put on probation wearing an ankle monitor, which infamously ran out of battery on this podcast.
Y si no fuera así, ellos estuvieran pegados. El grillete. Sonó.
Los Diablos.
El grillete, mi gente,
en poca, puñeta.
El primer grillete que subió.
Yo, that joint start going off. You better stop. They was gonna raid that joint.
Buena en un podcast.
At this point, Los Diablos were in a pretty good spot in their careers, frequently collaborating with big names in the industry. Chimmy was doing interview after interview, and he infamously got carried away in one of them in December of 2023, going extra fed for absolutely no reason.
Siempre cuentan en sus historias cómo ellos se dejaron dominar de la calle o cómo ellos estaban dentro de la calle y a pesar de estar en la calle, hacían su música, su maleanteo, tenían problemas, a fulano le mataron que sé yo cuánto desde el combo de él, a fulano. Y siempre veíamos esa historia de que la calle estaba metida en la música. Tú que eres parte del presente, yo quiero saber si todavía esa realidad existe aquí en Puerto Rico, si todavía la calle está dentro de lo que es la industria.
¿Verdad que sí? Porque detrás del artista están la gente que está invirtiendo, están la gente que creyó en el artista y que son de la calle, esos chavos son de la calle, son un quilero, un narco, un esto, un lo otro, y sabes, si tú tienes algún tipo de situación con ese artista, la estás haciendo con el hombre de la calle, ¿me entiendes? Pero si tú
Especially on some weekend chill shit, bro. On the weekends, just I'm a bit.
te pones a pensar, De La Ghetto estuvo con gente de la calle, Arcángel también, Anuel también, Ozuna también. Pues la real es que los bichotes son los que pagan todo. Que a los bichotes le ponen las motoras, las cadenas, los carros, todas esas cosas, ¿me entiendes? Que no todo a veces como tú piensas, ¿me entiendes? Y hay gente detrás que son de la calle.
With young Chimmy leading the way and the viral growth that every artist around him was experiencing, Cidobleta went back home and everything was looking bright for Los Diablos. But you see, back in Philadelphia, things between Waymo and their close allies, YO, and the guys from 7th and Russell were heating up. We have a whole...
That's it right there. Those are the blocks. 7th and Russell and Waymo is beefing. 7th and Russell and these guys. And they are allies with the YO clique.
5-minute long video explaining the conflicts between these two groups in Philly. Hade 66 is an artist from...
I'll watch that next. I'm gonna bip to like little light 12 real again, but we gonna watch that next.
Morovis, Puerto Rico, who goes back and forth from the island to Milwaukee and claims Los Popos or Seis. Hades started his career uploading freestyles to the page Freestyle Mania, where he quickly gained popularity and eventually would transition into a full-on music career where he soon found success. This other collective, Los Popos, includes rappers like Slick La Mina, who lives in Milwaukee, Black Any from Caguas, Puerto Rico, and Anubis, who was also friends with Hades from the beginning of his career. They all go by Los Popos, Seis, La M, or La Siete Records. It's rumored that a powerful drug kingpin from Milwaukee is the one funding this side, but we will dive deeply into Los Popos in a dedicated video. Slick, Blackini, and the rest are connected to the 7th and Russell Block in Philly, while Sombra and Pressure are linked up with their ops, YO. Chimmy and Hades would continue dropping music together and basically excluding themselves from the conflict. That fragile equilibrium would soon be broken. At the beginning, things seemed fine between both groups. They were frequently featured in each other's songs. We could see Chimmy, Hades, and Slick Lamina together in this music video for the remix of Bloody with Yaruza. It was in one of these features, the remix to Ooh by ROA and Hades. That would include new verses by Luar Lael and Cidableta. Allegedly, after catching up to the news about the conflict back in Philly, Hades 66 would take Cidableta off the song. Cidableta would respond on Instagram, and so there it goes. Los Diablos and Los Popos would finally start going at each other. 2 weeks later, the remix of Trap Phone, a track by Anubis featuring Casper, Juanca, Slick Lamina, and Cidableta was set to be released. As you can see, there's a problem here. Cidableta would go on to be removed from this song, even though he appeared in an official music video. It was taken down just a few hours after its release, and then re-released without the appearance of the Diablo. After the multiple back and forths on the internet over the Cidableta verses being cut, and with the streets hot back in Kensington on January 11th, 2024, at an album release party in Puerto Rico, Slick Lamina from Los Popos would run into Midnight and Dime West, two artists under the Moneyway umbrella, and they jumped them. At this moment, Chimmy and Hades were still collaborating, but 2024 would be the year when a war, both in music and in the streets, would explode openly between Los Diablos and Los Popos. In March of 2024, Pressure would drop VVS Switch remix with huge names in the industry like Anuel, Luar, Cidableta, and initially Hades 66. However, after allegedly Hades' label would strike the video of his collab with Slater and also Hades' verse on VVS Switch remix, the song would then be re-uploaded without Hades. Cidableta's case would get lost in the inefficiency of the court system. So now, on March 28, 2024, his ankle monitor would be removed, still waiting for his preliminary hearing.
Los poli me picaron el grillete.
But that wouldn't last, since only 2 days after getting his ankle monitor removed, on March 29, 2024, Puerto Rico police officer Eliezer Ramos Velez, who was off duty but still wearing his uniform and vest, was fatally shot after following a group of armed men that were in a car firing at a motorist. The officer was found dead in his vehicle, and his service weapon and radio were stolen. Allegedly, the perpetrators also tried to take off his vest, but were unable to. Ramos Velez was a 12-year veteran of the Puerto Rico Police Department, admired for his dedication, and had been named Officer of the Year 3 times. He left behind a young son.
Poco después del mediodía del Viernes Santo, las autoridades comenzaron a entrevistar a ciudadanos que podrían tener información o estar relacionados con el asesinato del policía Eliezer Ramos Vélez, adscrito a la División de Detección de Disparos.
El mensaje a estas personas es: no me los maten, entréguennos, no nos vamos del residencial hasta que no nos entreguen.
That's always a bad joint if a cop ended up getting killed in the middle of the bullshit.
The response of the authorities to the murder of the police officer took no time. The feds reopened Cidableta's gun case and would get an arrest warrant for him and 3 other men. The arrest was allegedly due to the October 2023 gun charge that was left on standby, but they were just gaining some time to build up a case for the police officer's murder. On April 1st, 2024, Cidableta would turn himself in to the federal and state authorities, and he would be sent to jail. According to the
this said 2 to 3 days after he just got the ankle monitor off. He just got that sensor. You mean they not tracking him? He in the car with his, you mean, with his crash outs, with his dudes, hierarchies, YNs talk, and they get into some shit and the cop get killed. Like, that's prayers to the family of the cop. They got suffered. That shit crazy.
Those authorities. Even though not charged for the officer's murder yet, Cidableta's arrest was fundamental for the investigation.
Contra el joven de 21 años ya pesaba una orden de arresto federal por posesión de un arma alterada para disparar de manera.
You see that gun that cop got? you see that joint. They not playing. They already know how these they already know how these motherfuckers coming. They know. They see the videos. They study that. Oh, and every cop know what kind of gun each person got.
Automática. Además, figura como persona de interés en el asesinato del policía Eliezer Ramos Vélez el pasado viernes en el residencial Sabana Bajo.
Caso específico del cantante, ¿verdad? Trapero que se llama C. ¿Por qué era una persona de interés? ¿Él está vinculado o no está vinculado?
No, es una persona de interés en el caso del asesinato del sargento Eliezer Ramos.
This was pretty much.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. If that would have happened, and even though PR is America, but that would happen within the states, like within the cities of the state, man, he would have been beat up and all that, limping. He would have been limping. They wouldn't even show the walk, like how the cop was walking with him.
Much all the information we got from the authorities, but after a little digging, we found out that Cidobleta's case is way deeper than it seemed, being part of a 56-person federal indictment with charges that range from distribution of kilos, allegedly amounting to up to $31 million, and to at least 3 murders, including Officer Ramez Velez.
Listen, y'all, why I also watch these is based on the fact addiction tied and all this. People be high. Like, they be off the juice, off them perks, and, oh, shit, I just jabbed my mic, what the hell? They be off them perks, like, and shit be going down, and it be, you don't even know it, like, you in the car with your homies, you're not expecting, but car full of straps, full of guns, anything go down, anything. It's like, bro, I ain't around with y'all. I'll let y'all see me on the internet. Y'all can watch my podcast. That's how, if I have homies on that, I'm like, yeah, I'll just watch the podcast. We could talk. We could talk through Discord and all that. Pull up to the chat. But all that, me in the car, cool, I'm good. You liable to anything. But listen, we about to tap right into the other video to let you know, to give you a background, bro. We gonna give you a background. This is my dog Barry Confidential.
In 2017, 13-year-old Y.O. Chi, as he's known, submitted an application to the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program.
My fault, y'all already know about it. But y'all watch it with me, though, see what I'm saying?
On the application, Chi writes that he's a rapper from Wyoming Ave and wanted to do a WYO mural. Now, in all seriousness, I'm sure he was just effing around, but one thing he was serious about was wanting to be a rapper. That very same year, he would drop a remix to Tay K's The Race. In that song, he talks about things you wouldn't expect a 13-year-old to be rapping about: guns, money, and selling drugs. He mentioned that his dad went to prison for a while for, quote, messing with them cartels and essays. These sentiments are how we got to where we are today. An innocent looking
This is how I remember the young boy Pressure and all the other Waymouth young boys. They were all kids, and even this the YO young boy, I remember seeing him on Instagram. Like, when he started rapping, to see him, you will see him transform. You don't know, you gonna find out.
13-year-old Chi will later become embroiled in one of the most bloody and violent street wars that ended up reaching far beyond Philly.
Police say 6 people were shot on Russell Street just before 1 a.m. Dozens of shots fired, several bullets in the outside of this home and their front door.
Yo, he gotta get a beat from me. You I gotta do beats too. Yo, I'm about to make an intro, y'all. I might have listen, AOA Militia intro.
Slide, we call the Diablos going poppin'. We just got the drop, best believe we pulling up with them. Every time we pull up, they be lucky we drop 50.
Listen, y'all, I'm bopping to the beat. I don't know what you're saying. Shout out to the fan. If he talking about any of his ops, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm bopping to the beat.
It's hard. 5 people were shot around 5:30 this morning. It happened at the corner of Dean Street and Wyoming Avenue.
Yo, seriously, I gotta turn this air off because I'm getting sick. But I also need it to get hot. Hey.
Block big 7 here.
All my niggas active rappers, we be slime by the tree. His dumb ass shit, I hopped up in that Jeep and no more MGP. Smoking on you, man, y'all made that shit, that shit sing. I told bro to post on market, it's a oppa in my drink. Spin that ass so many times, that shit ain't changed the way I think. Low stack bank rules, when we talk pressure, we apply the move.
Años soñando mi muerte, me tirotearon en Philly 2 veces. El que lo hizo se murió hace meses.
Con los diablos de Lloren, boy. Hablo con Chimmy, los negocios, mis canciones. Siempre va muerto cada vez que
Hey Tay, if you still listen, if you ain't know about the Puerto Rican drill scene, come on, man. And they got some slaps too.
Que era tu combo y el primero va a ser tú.
It started off extremely promising for Chi. I always get worried when I see young rappers blowing up way too fast. The industry sucks the passion out of these kids and sees them as nothing but a dollar sign, unfortunately. And then they're on to the next, and the cycle continues. I'm only saying this because it actually sounds dope, and I hope that doesn't happen to him. Y'all see where I'm coming from on this one? This comment was made 7 years ago under Chi's best performing song to date.
Rise in teen-involved gun violence is causing concern in Philadelphia.
Police are searching for 2 gunmen who shot 5 people in North Philadelphia.
Listen, y'all know how it was. Why? Listen, young boy, watch the evolve, watch the evolution.
Gotta get up on my city, it's dark here. Too much people dying. I'ma hustle with my team, we all gon' ball. You know, pressure make diamonds, I'ma shine like one. Dying my age, R.I.P. Lil Move. Never got a chance to make it to high school. Why, yo, where I came up, you can ask about my hood. Yeah, it get dangerous.
The song Shine was a turning point for Chi.
It's crazy. I used to live on Front Wyoming in my addiction.
In this video, you can see a kid affected by his environment, but determined to overcome it. His confidence and bravado shine through. You can see a star in the making if things were handled right. Unfortunately, the exact opposite happened.
Fuck a beat, I was trying to get some cake. No, you can't eat if you ain't help me fix my plate. With the dirty shoe like Curry or I'm Clay. Free my pop, they got him down for a decade. He was running with cartels and them essays.
You hear?
I've been dripping sauce on a regular. I'm too saucy, yeah. Keep my dogs around me like Givenchy, yeah. Haters wish you well, I be in Chanel.
This old young boy don't rap none like this nowadays.
Anything on the plug, so she hit myself. That way. Yeah. Whoa. All these people keep on hating and I ain't even make it. Pull up, they don't say nothing. I skirt off in the spaceship. Yeah. You tryna ride away from me? Got your girl on me. Skirt off in the spaceship. Yeah.
Chi took his name from the character from Scarface. They called him Chi-Chi. Chi's dad was never around, as I said earlier, and this ties back into what I was saying in my previous video about single mothers.
Listen, Jit got Vlad though. I thought Young was going up. I thought he was the new, like, we had the kid, the spin top kid from the city. Like, hey, Tay, where you from?
Got the young up-and-comer YOG in the house.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, bro.
You're 14 years old?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So you're from Philly?
Yes.
Okay. You know, when I look at you, are you mixed at all, or?
No, I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican?
Yeah. Growing up in Philly is like, when I was younger, it was like, it wasn't as much as it is like when I was growing.
Listen, hey, Tay, saying Jit, you definitely gotta be from Florida. You feel me? You know, I lived out there for a year.
Growing up as a teenager, I don't know if you know, but like there's a lot of like teenagers dying. My recent song I just dropped, like it talk about like kids dying, talk about my city, talk about like the you should be like happy just to even like live another day in Philly, cause you never know like.
Okay, now you mentioned your mom. Was your dad around at all?
No, he wasn't around. He was only around for like when I was like 1. It's crazy though, cause like he had hit my mom up like before that. He was saying all this other stuff, and then he just I want him to see me because I'm older now. So I was like, I made the decision. It was up to me because he live in Florida. You want to see him? I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I just see him like just say what's up to him and all that, but like it won't just be the same.
Shout out to the A.
He was just talking, but like I really didn't care what he was talking about. Like it was just like you can't like.
Shout out to Georgia because I know it's different than Georgia. Georgia big as hell. So you feel me? Shout out to Georgia.
You can't just try to get back to my life like that.
Yeah. What, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I got 2 other brothers.
Same father?
No, we all got different dads.
Okay, so you have your mother raising 3 kids from 3 different fathers.
Yeah.
So you have a single mother, essentially. You know, your father's not around, and your siblings' fathers are in and out of jail.
But I had like my big bros, you know, like your old heads, as you call it, in the streets and stuff. So it was like they was looking out for me and all that. Like they would make sure I was good. They make sure my mom was good. This one old head, like I'm really close. Like they really see me when I was like a baby, like running around in the street. So it's like I call him my pop, cause like he was there. He did everything for me. Like my mom couldn't do it, like he'd do it for me. And I call one of my other ways, like my uncle, cause like he did the same. They both did the same for me, so like
I understand more, but I ain't calling him my pop though. You ain't my pop, and you were away from you an older person running away.
That was my pop and that was my uncle.
Okay.
I respected it though.
She left school after
like, when you ain't got nobody to look up to and niggas come around looking out, you gotta respect the game. Especially when somebody stepping up being a role model.
Grade once his music started to pop off. This would be the first in a string of bad decisions that led Chi to where he is today. He was raised by a single mother, had 2 brothers, each from different fathers, and turned to the streets for answers. The guidance he was looking for took shape in Papi Chino and Young 187, 2 other aspiring rappers from the neighborhood. Papi Chino was well known for his street affairs, but we'll leave that one for another video.
My uncle, the person I call my uncle, his name is Papi Chino. He raps, he's from Philly. He was popping, like, YO is like where we from, was the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the first one that really started popping.
That's Wyoming.
Like, I was around him and stuff, and then I had my other OG, his name Young 187, he rapped too. He was like, I was in all his music videos and all that. So like, I was known already, like, for being in music videos, for being known, like, being his young boy and all that.
Papi Chino, half Cambodian and half Puerto Rican, was a get money boy from the YO area for years. His street knowledge was legendary and his name rang bells. Chi took after him and looked at him as an uncle/role model.
My uncle was like, yo, let's try to put him in the studio and let's like, we gonna help him out. Like if he need help, like if he need more help, like writing and all that, like we gonna see like what we could do. We just gonna let him do him first and he gonna like play around with it, so.
YO, short for Wyoming Avenue, is a large, mostly Hispanic neighborhood in North Philadelphia that spans from areas like Front in Wyoming, Rising Sun, 5th in Wyoming, B Street Park, and D in Wyoming, covering parts of Hunting Park and Feltonville. Often considered part of the Badlands, it's historically been a wild, high-activity section of the city and still holds weight today, though it was even more notorious back in the 90s and early 2000s. Feltonville is a working-class neighborhood in North Philly, bordered by Erie Avenue, Front Street, Roosevelt Boulevard, Tacony Creek, and G Street, and includes the former area known as Rolandville. Originally known as Wyoming Villa in the late 1800s, it was a scenic, high-ground suburb of Philadelphia marked by elegant homes, rolling farms, and limited public transit via the Reading Railroad. Named after the wealthy Felton family, the area saw development led by the Wyoming Land and Improvement Association, with notable landmarks like the Rao Mansion and the Wyoming branch of the Free Library, completed in 1930 as the last Carnegie-funded library in Philadelphia. The neighborhood also featured small schools such as the original Feltonville School, taught by one teacher for all 12 grades, and included the historic Feltonville School No. 2, which was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1988. As of the 2010 census, Feltonville is a fairly diverse middle-class neighborhood with a population that is 42.8% Hispanic, 29.7% African American, and includes significant communities of Asian, Caribbean, Central American, and Middle Eastern immigrants, notably a large Palestinian American presence. While internal set versus set beef isn't common in the Puerto Rican sections of Philly, or at least it's kept low-key, YO has an ongoing rivalry with another Puerto Rican hood around 7th Street in the Badlands. This area is also home to Young 187, who I mentioned earlier. 187 was considered one of the hottest coming out of YO, right before YO Chi blew up. YO Chi was popping around 2018 with his breakout hit on World Star called Spaceship. His song Saucy took him to the next level, as No Jumper, DJ Vlad, and Hip Hop 1987 interviews followed shortly after. This put YO on the map as an area in Philly that people outside the city may recognize. In 2019, he was invited to a local middle school as a guest and a positive role model as he danced and sang with kids only a few years younger than him.
We just got the car, man. Shout out to City here, shout out to Food, shout out to everybody, man. We about to turn up for the kids, man.
The same year, he posted a Wildwood vlog, just him and his friends down the shore, with young fans even recognizing him.
Yo, what y'all say? What y'all say?
Who? Rhino Chief.
Rhino?
Yes, Bob. Who's this again?
Huh?
Look, whole lot of gangs. You heard?
Fast forward to 2025, and he's the furthest thing from a role model, and this change all went down in only a few years, as often is the case. A kid who had dreams of stardom, facing a challenging environment, armed with an absent father and a single mother, the streets would soon get a chokehold on a young, talented rapper. Young 187 is another rapper associated with YO, as I said, most well known for a song with P&B Rock in 2016 called How It Go.
I just poured up before I'm moving slow. I'm the man now, bitch, better act like you know. Keep it real with the gang, that's how it goes. Stack that money to the ceiling, that's how it goes.
On May 8th, 2018, Young 187 is seen.
Yo, P&B Rock was the GOAT with the, man, he had a voice, gang. He had it.
Walking into a 7-Eleven on Delaware Ave. Almost immediately after walking in the store, something outside caught his attention. The footage shows him walking outside and instantly getting into a fistfight in a parking lot. After the commotion settles, Young is seen getting a gun from his car as people scatter to their own vehicles. A car is driving away as Young 187 fires. He was charged with aggravated assault when he was arrested 2 months later.
Also breaking this morning.
Listen, Tag, you see they on shit. He straight went to this, I'm saying.
Detectives are reviewing surveillance video that shows a shooting in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven in the city's Fishtown section. The 43-year-old victim was shot on the 1000 block of Delaware Avenue just before 1 a.m. Police are searching for the shooter.
High speed in that track, Hawk, I can't go back. You can't speak about them bodies, you ain't got no hats. Take them Nikes off, replace it with a toe tag. If he on the line, talking about the bros, then he done.
Banging on these niggas, I go hard up in the paint. Smoking on your man, y'all made this shit, that ship sink.
Russell Street, along with Schiller and Marshall Streets, is a well-known Puerto Rican block off Tioga.
Well known. I used to go out here. I used to go here and get, you mean, and get situated. They definitely, you mean.
Philadelphia, particularly recognized for its deep ties to the Badlands. YO's main ops in this story come from 7th and Russell, or R Block.
This is the first block I went to when I got out the hospital and I got my surgery. I went to this block.
The block has seen multiple mass shootings, one in 2019 where 5 people were injured, and a more infamous one in 2022 that left 2 dead, including Fat Boy Chris, someone who had ties to both Marshall and Russell Streets. Despite being somewhat tucked away, the block has a notorious reputation stretching from 6th and Marshall to around 8th Street. In addition to the YO beef, Russell also has ongoing tensions with Weymouth and Kensington, said to have started over a house party dispute.
Yeah, that's it. Over a house party dispute. I definitely, Weymouth, like, major block. You know, they just got indicted. But that was a major block out in when I was in active addiction. A major block, like a main block I went to.
Known as a Get Money block, the beefs that Russell Street found themselves in would see them take several losses. In 2019, the shooting I mentioned that had hurt 4 people is where a 22-year-old man, Pedro Luis Ortiz Gonzalez, was killed and 3 others were injured in a shooting around 3 a.m. on Saturday, October 12th. On West Russell Street and North 8th, Ortiz Gonzalez, or Peter as he was known, was shot in the hip with a bullet traveling to his abdomen. He later died at Temple University Hospital. The other victims included an 18-year-old man who was shot in the leg, a man in his late 40s or early 50s who was shot in the neck and back, who was left in critical condition, and a 54-year-old woman shot multiple times in both legs, currently who was left in stable condition. Police recovered shell casings from 2 different caliber firearms and believe 2 suspects were involved.
Niggas running, niggas ducking, that boy died. Smoking fatbacks, this shit got me fried.
In May of 2020,
His whole situation switched up.
22, YO members started to
song.
diss 7th and Russell in songs, and for the first time, the public would see these 2 groups were beefing. As these things are first starting to play out, the general public and fans of the music might not know exactly what's being rapped about, but for the artists making the songs and the ops, they know precisely what's being said.
They had to zip his ass up. No hospital game. They zipped his ass up. Caught him loafing on that block, so they blicked his ass up. And we did it mashed up, so ain't no getting snatched up. Cooked 2 niggas in one day, and one. Bought me a uniform, made 30 off that Samsung. Ask my old heads, they the ones that got us tootin'. Smoking fat packs. Damn, this shit's long. And we in the V. This shit's over. Man, this one op stay typing on the net. Yo, I don't know what happened with the music, but they just start saying everything. The V stolen. So now the cops see that and they know like, oh, we see these cars, which one? More than likely that they're in a stolen car. What's up, bro? Come on, man. You don't want none of this. When we get that Lulu on his ass, I swear he gonna be next.
In September of 2022, things would take a terrifying turn as the beef would intensify.
You gotta give addiction up and smoke it. You feel me? You got ashes. You gotta turn addiction into ashes, man.
The homicide rate in Philadelphia just keeps on climbing following a violent, disturbing holiday weekend.
Police say 6 people were shot on Russell Street just before 1 a.m. Dozens of shots fired, several bullets striking the outside of this home and their front door. Police say a 33-year-old woman and a 19-year-old man died from their injuries.
6 people were shot, 2 fatally, when 2 gunmen and a...
Look at all them bullets. 40, I say 49. That's the highest bullet. 49 shots, like what?
silver vehicle opened fire on a group of people gathered outside a home on West Russell Street early on a Monday morning. Police say the shooters unleashed over 50 bullets in an ambush around 1 a.m. on Labor Day during a black gathering or party.
Y'all can check the school, we up some more, let's go get with me. Heard they drive 50, let's go get with me.
A 33-year-old woman was shot in the head and died at the scene, while a 19-year-old man died at the hospital hours later. 4 others were injured, including a 23-year-old and a 55-year-old man in critical condition, and a 17-year-old and 31-year-old man who were left in stable condition. Investigators believe that the woman and the older man were innocent bystanders. The house where the shooting occurred showed more than 20 bullet holes, and the yard was filled with livestock, including goats and chickens. The motive remains unknown.
That's fucked up. I ain't gonna lie, that's fucked up. It was just pointless. Y'all dropped all that. They killed 2 people that didn't matter.
And neighbors offered little information.
That didn't matter to like the war. They mattered to life, to somebody. They mattered. But they wasn't involved. They wasn't gang members.
Chris Diaz, who was 19, was killed that night, along with Shakira Scott, who was 33. Right. Chris was the son of a big timer on the block, and his death would really turn up the heat.
All right, they still was innocent. He wasn't. His just was the involvement in the female. That's messed up, gang.
Ooh, Sam killed it.
Listen on the gram, that's what got your man hit. I ain't see it coming. That's an NFL blitz. Hit his ass 7 times, baby Mike Vick. Block 19 with a switch, we gon' speed it up. Hop man and Johnny with the tent, you can't see us us. Seen that boy laying on the corner, turn his ass around. Niggas running, niggas ducking, that boy died. Smoking fatbacks, this shit got me fried.
We just got some turkey, but can't wait to go and slide. That's addiction on the live.
Niggas know what's up with energy, we send shit. Yo, that dissing shit go both ways though. It's just a bad combination. Like it start from. It's just bad. To the sky, niggas dissing on the gram. Man, these niggas telling lies. When we pulled up on that block.
shots fired.
About a month later, YO would suffer a loss as well. The news article for the incident reads, "A man is dead after police say he became the victim of a shooting that erupted inside an after-hours club in North Philadelphia on Saturday, October 22nd, 2022. Reports of gunshots led police to the Showroom, an after-hours club on the 4300 block of American Street, where a 26-year-old man was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest just before 5 a.m.
City's Feltonville neighborhood, a man is dead after being shot inside a building at the corner of American Cuyahoga Streets. The bullets started flying just before this morning. Police say when they got there, they found the victim shot multiple times. He died at the hospital. Officers say they believe there is likely more than one shooter. So far, no arrest.
Boatload Capone, or Juan de Jesus, was the man that was shot that night. On an Instagram post, the mother of Capone rails against what she calls his so-called friends and so-called girlfriend. She says that instead of helping him in the club that night, the girlfriend was worried about recovering bottles and his friends were trying to get their story straight instead of helping her son. Even though Russell apparently had nothing to do with Capone's death, they still mocked him online and kicked over his candlelight memorial.
Bro, they different. Bro, they different. They a different breed. Look at this shit.
She alludes to the bouncer there shooting him as well as it being some sort of paid job. Obviously, I can't confirm or deny what she's saying, but that's her side. 3 months after Fat Boy Chris was killed, YO Glizzy released First 48, a song dissing Russell Street, as well as taking credit for the drill that killed Chris.
Stuffed in this bitch like I'm Brian. Yeah, we did that drill last night, he on that timeline. Brody hit his wall 100 times, hot box. Little book kept dissing, now we turn him out rocks. Ooh, he a gun. How the fuck you leave me in that shit like backdoor?
And we all know where this story is headed from here. The same kind of stories that I've went over time and time again on this channel. The violence followed by the dissing, the mocking, the drill songs, and then more violence. Repeat the cycle over and over again.
Man, that's that new shit, you hear me? Fuck Glizzy and cheese shit, that shit ass. This that new shit right here, y'all.
Sevens up, W down, you heard?
And all my friends is killers that surround me. Y'all was trolling Fat Boy, I ain't even catch his body. Then they turned Big Boatload, the little yachty. We might spend 3 block, throw them niggas a little party. Y'all don't really want no smoke, y'all don't post about a tree. Y'all niggas don't come outside me, I ain't trying to be IE. Y'all be trolling on the net, y'all ain't SOIDE. Why y'all young boys talk so much, man, y'all ain't never catch a beat. The majority of y'all niggas pussy, and y'all mad, y'all losing. When we catch Glizzy, he gon' have more fucking confusion. Then I'm sick of shit, I could've caught him in that fusion. Yeah, I could've aired you. And my son saw a spare thing. Same fucking shit, I could've did the fucking Gary. But I'ma keep the street trying.
They be having some fire beats though. I ain't gonna fuck.
87 days release. I just grabbed it out some boatload, got me looking Vietnamese. And then to that.
Smoking on your man, y'all made this shit, that ship sink. I told Rondo to post some market, it's a opera in my drink. Spin the air so many times, that shit ain't changed the way I think.
May 28th, 2023, 2 men were shot on the 200 block of West Huntington Park Ave. Philadelphia police responded to St. Christopher's Hospital, where they saw a bullet-ridden gray 2002 Toyota Corolla in the emergency bay. Hospital staff there told the officers that the 2 victims came in suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and that they had arrived in the Toyota, along with 18-year-old Ruben Melendez, who died that night and resided on West Russell Street. There was also a 21-year-old victim who was not named who was shot in both his arms. Not much else is known about this incident.
Why'd you have to go? So many tears so I can't cry no more. You ain't up in the sky, look up and see you, bro.
I'm like, damn, man, I can't believe I'm really writing this shit.
After the death of Fat Boy Chris, it was apparent that YO was being helped by Weymouth. Weymouth had ties to the notorious Los Diablos, who I first mentioned in my Rondo video. These guys are the Philadelphia branch of a powerful and violent criminal organization that originated in Puerto Rico, known as Los Diablos de Yarens. Most of its members claim affiliation with the Grupo 27 prison gang, which they frequently reference. They're also believed to have ties with the guerrilla narco-terrorist group known as Las FARC, short for...
You see, so they got that whole army versus like,
Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Cantera. There's a long-standing Puerto Rican migration link between Philadelphia and the island. Many families moved between the two over generations, especially from San Juan, Ponce, and Mayagüez to North Philly. Some elements, like drug distribution networks, have been reported to coordinate between Philly and Puerto Rico, although rare. But this is usually through family or cartel affiliations rather than structured national gangs like MS-13s or the Bloods. The international ties behind Los Diablos run deep. This story stretches from Puerto Rico to New York to Philly and even Milwaukee. There's a lot more to uncover. If y'all want a deep dive into this international organization that's allegedly under federal investigation with over over 20 bodies linked, hit that like button and drop a comment. Let me know if you're ready to move outside of Philly. Weymouth and Los Diablos have heavy ties. Pressure is one of the most popular Puerto Rican drill artists, with his videos regularly getting hundreds of thousands and many times millions of views. His life in Philly would be that of chaos. Born in Puerto Rico, he moved to Philly a few years ago and linked with Sombra. The first song Sombra and Pressure made hit 10 million views.
Listen, when I say the Yo Pressure, if it ain't him, it's a group of them that's from that block. You know how they say just came up like a couple years ago? You feel me? These all still the YNs, like they more deeper than just the music figures.
Si me pasan el ticket, cabrón, cojo tu contrato. Salimos a cazar, está vestido de tecato. Haciendo los kayaking, estamos imposibles. Tengo un palo hijueputa que el gatillo está sensible. 300 en la cara y obligado que era invisible. Que nosotros mandamos, cabrón, eso está visible. Si me pasan el ticket, cabrón, cojo tu contrato. Te salimos a cazar, está vestido de tecato. Saben que presto el llama, yo bajo y prendo el spray. La furia es doble tono esperando que algún mistake. Rojo 27, me canto si caigo preso, ey, ey. El año pasado me llevo unos cuantos. El padre soltó el ticket.
Hey, Tay, you can't say that shit no. You like, this shit hard.
In 2021, he met Chimmy through a mutual friend, Gringo. Chimmy is the main glue here that ties Philly, Puerto Rico, Sombra, Pressure, and the drill music all together. Remember Young Chimmy for later. Pressure and Sombra together released Mob Ties, Cayamano, Rojo, and more recently, Deadpool. Sitting at more than 20 million views collectively, the duo found instant success. In 2023, Pressure released the viral VVS Switches, which sits at almost 60 million views as of May 2025.
I switched to find the love within.
Where you at? Viví en todos los switches, maniga estamos a switches. Kayaking sin guante esperando que no me fichen. Regando con muerto, bañándome con su sangre.
YO and Weymouth have connection for years through family and the island. Sombra was born in Philly, and his link to Los Diablos is more direct. We'll get more into Los Diablos in a dedicated video. The incident Sombra is most well known for took place in December of 2023. As Sombra sat in the barber's chair finishing his haircut, 3 gunmen approached the side door of the shop at the Los Brothers Barbershop on North 5th Street.
We also have new video tonight from the shooting at that barbershop in North Philadelphia we've been following since this afternoon. In the video, you can see 2 men get out of a car, walk up to the side of the building on 5th Street and open fire. 2 men were shot, but police tell us they are stable at the hospital. Police have made no arrests in either of these shootings or given any possible motives.
Sombra was on point and immediately peeped what was happening and shot 2 of the would-be assailants. He immediately made a video dissing the people he shot.
Mira, Slick, tú vives cagado, tú no entras para Milwaukee. Y Anando, si se sigue poniendo bruto, lo van a secuestrar. Y la M me mata el bicho, cabrón, ¿qué quiere? ¿Que le robe las cadenas?
The 2 people hit that day were a 19-year-old and a 25-year-old. 4 months later, he could be heard rapping about it here.
Chino la fe.
Where you at?
Fallaron los tiros en plena barber party le mandé. Ya vieron las noticias, se bajan, nunca hacen nada. No dieron un tiro, les mando y desaparecen. Ya todo filibió, soy un diablo, no hay miedo a nada. Por las 7 yo les paso y les doy fuerte. Si soy yo el que hace que se pongan las sketches.
2 months before the barbershop incident with Sombra, a Weymouth member was killed. Joseph Angel Garcia Andino was found inside of a crashed Ford pickup truck on a 500 block of West Pike Street on Sunday, October 1st, 2023.
Dying.
At 5:52 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the scene and located Joseph, or Trippy as he was known, inside of the truck. His body was found a few blocks away from 7th and Russell, possibly sliding, but mystery floats around the circumstances of Trippy's death. Sombra mentions Trippy in songs often.
Look, they on that block. The cops like, look. The cops right sitting there like, oh shit. This what made them hit him. This video what made them hit him. Like, we gotta go quick. We gotta get in there quick. Rico's, all types of shit.
Trippy respondió, tu primo murió bien pendejo. No le dimos play ni de sacar la 4-0.
Que pan descanse Trippy, fíjense el cabrón del minor.
Mataron al brother cuando yo lo pillé, les voy a dar 70.
Pressure has mentioned getting shot a few times in his songs as well.
Están tirando y no me dan. ¿Cuántas balas están gastando? Yo se las voy a costear. Dejen de estar barquillando. Las balas jalo no penetran carro. Llevan 2 años soñando mi muerte. Me tirotearon en Philly.
Listen, Tay, these not your average. They from Philly. These are your Philly Puerto Ricans. You feel me? These ain't your average. These not just your average Ricans.
Another incident I haven't mentioned yet was in January.
Or just your average, not your average Spanish people. These are they Philly-anized.
Of 2023, a horrific quadruple shooting in Mayfair that left 3 men dead and 1 critically injured. The entire incident was captured on surveillance video. The incident occurred around 10 p.m. on Guilford Street near Roosevelt Mall as 4 men were crossing the street and were suddenly ambushed by gunfire. Police say roughly 50 shots were fired and that they believe the victims were targeted. The shocking footage shows 3 victims collapsing immediately while a 4th runs for his life after being shot. The suspected shooter's vehicle then appears to drive over at least 2 of the victims before fleeing the scene. One of the wounded men tried to take cover in a nearby home but later died.
Like, what happened? Like, nigga, what can you show on YouTube? They show all this other shit. Oh, shit. Yo, them switches ain't no joke, man. Ain't no joke.
The victims were identified as Christopher Bautista, 18, Miguel Delgado, 19, and Miguel Santos, 24. A 28-year-old man survived but was hospitalized in critical condition. Authorities arrested 24-year-old Edwin Vargas in connection with the shooting. Vargas was already in custody for a separate firearm incident and has since been charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder. Investigators also linked him to a prior homicide on January 3rd and 2 separate shootings targeting his ex-girlfriend's residence in late December and early January.
Yeah, so they all knew each other. These 4 young people, all in their teens or early 20s, were shot last night in Northeast Philadelphia, a quadruple shooting. Police believe this was likely targeted, leaving 3 people dead and adding to the city's homicide numbers just days into the new year. Happened last night around 10 p.m. in the city's Mayfair neighborhood. This is near Guilford Street and Roland Avenue. 2 of the victims were told died on scene. They still haven't been identified, listed as John Does. A 3rd victim was rushed to the hospital and died there, while a 4th actually ran to a nearby house for help after being shot. He was taken to the hospital and is still alive this morning. Police say all 4 were hanging out together and went shopping earlier in the day. They came back to this typically quiet neighborhood in Northeast Philadelphia. That's when somebody began firing.
We have new details tonight about the 24-year-old multiple murder suspect. He's accused in a deadly ambush shooting that happened in Mayfair, where this situation had left 3 people killed and it terrorized the neighborhood. Now police say this suspect is connected to even more crimes, including another murder.
This is 24-year-old Edwin Vargas. Police arrested him on January 18th. He's accused of the quadruple shooting that left 3 people dead on the 7300 block of Roland Street in Mayfair on January 9th.
On the 7300 block of Roland Street, there was a shooting incident that resulted in 4 males being shot. 3 of those males succumbed to their injuries.
Police say Vargas was one of 4 shooters seen in this disturbing surveillance video ambushing the victims as they walked home. Vargas was also charged.
Listen, Dow, I appreciate you pulling up. Take time, like the stream. Let's let you, so YouTube can push it to somebody else.
First homicide of the year on January 3rd. A 25-year-old man was shot and killed in a car at the intersection of 9th Street and Hunting Park Avenue. And now today we learned he was charged for shooting up a home on a romantic partner on December 30th and again on January 4th. Court documents show he even left a message on the victim's voicemail that said, "Yeah, I'm the one who shot your mom's house up this morning." Vargas is now...
What type of text is that?
Facing terroristic threat charges and others in that incident. Today, Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw talked about crime in the city.
Violent criminals have to be taken into custody. There have to be consequences. They must be held accountable, and that's exactly what we're announcing today.
Outlaw talked about how the new pinpoint strategy placing more patrols in high crime areas and how it's working to get criminals off the streets.
It's a very small percentage of individuals, of trigger pullers, that are responsible and are driving the largest proportion of crime, violent crime, here in our city.
Now, Vargas has a lengthy criminal history. In fact, the DA's office issued warrants for Vargas on January 5th for violating parole on prior assault and weapons case.
4 men who had just come back from a trip to the mall. 18, 19, 24, and 28 years old.
Weymouth and YO's affiliation became crystal clear when in February of 2024, YO Glizzy, Chi, and Sombra released a song called Up the Score, which sees them shouting out Los Diablos and dissing 7th and Russell.
Yeah, and it's JYO.
And it's G to my, none of them niggas want this work, Sliding in them cats, we put them turkey busts to work. Man, they know just what it is, they say our name, we put in work.
El diablo está en mi oído, está pidiendo que lo parta, que me pare en las 7 y me le mea su en la cara. Cabrón, estás cagado, no sales sin chaleco de bala. Cae con el chaleco que te voy a quemar las patas. Le regalo queso porque ustedes todos son ratas. Los diablos en la doble con todos los nenes de guayo.
Every time I slide, we call the diablos going poppin', We just got the drop, best believe he pulling up with them. Mix the W with the W, got them niggas looking hurt, Heard they talking crazy, we put in work. We the ones that's tapping heads, we be making headstones. See the thirst up on the net, they ain't get back, y'all man gone.
Dime patroncito, cabrón, estás bien cagado. Te va a matar como matamos a tu hijo, cabrón. Aquí los chavos no ganan guerra, cabrón.
De Wayman a Wyoming, switch estamos mandando. Lo más diablo le affiliate, bitch, yo lo está mamando. Cruise through the 7-9, left 200 rounds. They know what it is, they say our name, we coming round.
Ustedes no ganan guerra, todas las puertas te han vivo. Nosotros no fallamos, si no crees mira a tu hijo.
Oli le mete con el palo, yo en el piso lo restrayo. Los diablos de Lloren, los de la Weymouth, los de Guayo.
Los Diablos are known by their branding of Megatron. Young Chimi's first manager was a PR bigwig currently in prison whose nickname was Megatron. Another nickname for him was LD.
Sé que en algún momento escuchaste mencionar a LD por parte de John Chimmy o alguno de los Diablos de Llorens, pero ¿sabes quién realmente es LD? Luis Daniel García Hernández, o también conocido como LD, el Enano o el Megatron, es el manager de John Chimmy, o bueno, era porque en este momento está en prisión y es básicamente quien empezó todo esto. LD fue quien dio esos primeros pasos para llevar la Glicigan y la Moneyway a donde están hoy en día, consiguiéndole a John Chimmy colaboraciones tipo Anuel AA, Ozuna, Mora, Arcángel, Mike Towers, entre otros. Pero lamentablemente, el 25 de mayo de 2022, cayó preso junto a otras 40 personas que hacían parte de su pandilla. Su libertad bajo fianza fue negada y pues si bien a día de hoy su sentencia final no ha sido dictaminada, las cosas no se ven nada fácil para él. Y es que el Megatron enfrenta cargos de tráfico de drogas y uso ilegal de armas. Y si bien su caso todavía no ha sido comprobado, enfrenta una pena entre 10 años y cadena perpetua.
Detrás del artista están la gente que está invirtiendo, están la gente que creyó en el artista y que sus chavos son de la calle, son un quilero, un narco, un esto, un lo otro. Y si tú tienes algún tipo de situación con ese artista, la estás teniendo con el hombre de la calle, ¿me entiendes? O sea, el género por lo menos urbano de Puerto Rico lo creó la calle, es la realidad, ¿me entiendes? Lo creó la calle, ¿me entiendes?
On the other side of the beach from the island, aligned with 7th and Russell, is a set called La Siete, or Los Pulpos, or the Octopuses. Black Quanny and Slick Lamina, seen here with 7th and Russell, are part of that.
The Octopuses is crazy.
Set. Black Quanny has ties to New York, and Slick Lamina, who is from Milwaukee, both have ties to the island. Now the beef between these two Puerto Rican gangs literally started over music before it migrated to street and gang wars that you see back here in Philadelphia. You can hear the beef playing out over Puerto Rican drill songs.
Patroncito, patroncito, va muertito. Te pato la cara con mi Draco y lo repito.
Cabrón, somos la mafia más cabrón de Puerto Rico. Mandamos en fila y la 7 me mama el bicho.
Cabrón, yo estaba tranquilo y revolcaste la avispero.
Está fácil darle inventor un antojo. Pues si el patroncito dice hoy vamos a arrancarte los ojos. El ticket no te hace a prueba de plomo.
Black ni el real diga, cabrón, esto no es maná. Si le di en la cara al jefe tuyo, aquí no va a hacer nada.
They got the drill scene on smash though.
Cabrón, le dimos break, estos cabrones son fake. De los diablos de Lloren, cabrón, a los corre güey. El file dice que ninguno corra como corre Slay. Cabrón, yo no fallo como Steph. A que sabe mi derecha, pues pregúntele al chef. Que hasta las tenis dejó tirar y le quitamos los dreads. Frente el corre el maratón, ese hueputa si son locos. Y Chimi estaba en una esquina, está comiéndose los mocos. Ustedes estaban bien prendidos y yo les apago el foco. Cabrón.
¿Dónde están? ¿Dónde están? Estoy loco, secuestrado a un cantante. Ya, vale y brujería, tengo un AK, está soldado. Estoy buscando a Jade por Tocagua, está asustado. Entramos pa' Morovi, parle fuletazo con la 40, pa' que tiren puya en las stories.
Mira, oye, Chimi, mamame el bicho, cabrón, ya yo estoy probado. En Lloren estoy sonando, estoy pegado hasta en tu canto. Chimi parece una puta en la historia.
Gritan Black y el hijo de puta y que lo raja.
Yo, listen, y'all. Y'all see that they're flashing a lot of stuff that just how we watching it, the fans is watching like, okay, they got a lot of money. They got this gun, they got that gun, they got this, they see and all that.
Ya los que todavía corren con tu ventaja. Tripando con Jade y con 2 AK pa' que nos busquen en Cagua. Y Chimi que me mame el bicho con tu brujería. Que yo soy el culpable de estrellar su compañía.
Yo bofeta y una pata te voy a romper por la mitad. Chimi está bien flaco, parece un tecato de kraut.
Y el diablo tiene que mamarme el bicho, cabrón, si lo invoco. Tú que eres problemático, cabrón, pues te provoco.
Que los míos corren. A ti se te olvida que esto Lloren Torres. Los últimos 2 que faltaron la cara les borre. Que me mama el bicho a las 7, Gemer. Todos esos cabrones dan risa. Cabrón, nos vengaba a tu hermano. Cogiste pasaje, tú lo que de risa.
Se va para el baúl, es Rolando el hijo de en un blon. Los brothers llamando desde la prisión. Que quieren más muerte y matemos a todos.
Weymouth would take a major loss when drug kingpin Fellow was killed. Now there's contradicting stories coming out of this incident. Some say 7th and Russell were responsible, and some say it's other beef from the island. Some say it was an inside job. Much like Rondo, info on this is few and far between.
Listen, I got him mixed up with the Flacco dude. Is Fellow and the Flacco dude is two different people. If anybody know or watched my other video on the FBI raid. But the Waymount OG ended up getting tied into the YN beef and ended up getting killed.
Police are investigating after officials said a man was shot and killed around lunchtime in Northeast Philly on Wednesday, November 6, 2024. The news article about his death reads that, according to police, the incident happened around 12:38 at a location along the 2100 block of Tyson Ave in Northeast Philly. Officers responding to the reported shooting found a 29-year-old man who officials said had suffered gunshot wounds to the left side of his neck and chest. He was taken to a nearby hospital where officials said he was pronounced dead at about 1:01 p.m. Officials did not immediately provide further info on the victim, although he was later revealed to be Fellow. Officials recovered a firearm, but no arrests were made. One thing is for sure, is things will only get worse from here. A 23-year-old man was killed and 4 others were injured in a quintuple shooting early on a Saturday morning in December.
A quintuple shooting is crazy.
Of 2024 in Feltonville.
What the heck is a quintuple? How many is that?
The shooting occurred around 5:30 a.m. near the intersection of East Wyoming and D Street. Responding officers found numerous shell casings, both on the sidewalk and inside a small upstairs bar located at the corner, where investigators believe most of the gunfire took place. All 5 victims, Hispanic men ranging in age from 23 to 45, were shot inside the bar. The youngest victim was pronounced dead at Temple University Hospital. 3 others, ages 28, 35, and 45, suffered multiple gunshot wounds.
Thanks, bro. That was like quintuple.
And would remain hospitalized for a few days at Temple Hospital. Also, a 40-year-old man was shot once and released from the hospital soon after.
These headlines for you that we are following on this Sunday night. 6 people were hurt and 2 killed in 2 separate shootings, and now police are searching for the shooters responsible. In Hunting Park, 5 people were shot around 5:30 this morning. Police say 1 victim is dead and 4 others are still recovering in local hospitals. It happened at the corner of D Street and Wyoming Avenue, and now an investigation into the shooting is beginning. Anyone with information is being asked to contact Philadelphia Police's homicide unit.
So much violence, so much bloodshed, and so much pain has come from this situation. The families of the victims are traumatized forever, while the rappers try to profit off the misery. The world continues to spin, and the music keeps coming out. Some say the violence will never end. There is so much more that we didn't mention in this video, like the death of Bebo from YO and John from 7th and Russell. Those are just 2 examples, but so many more incidents happened that we just couldn't get to. As for YO Chi, his last video barely reached 10,000 views, and the wasted potential is nothing short of sad. Some speculate it was because he had the help of a ghostwriter when he first started, as well as the young teen demographic to boost his numbers. But whatever the case, the dramatic fall off has been undeniably tragic to witness. A full documentary on Los Diablos, and in turn, through their beef, La Siete, will be coming soon. Los Diablos, Young Chimmy, Megatron, Las Fart, and everything going on in Puerto Rico is wild, and the video will be a guaranteed fun watch. Please stay tuned for that. If you're interested,
listen, y'all. I got one more video before we, you feel me? One more video, 30-minute video, you mean? Just to top off, so y'all can get a good perspective of what's going on. It's this video is on, if any of y'all know, it's on the guy Rondo. This is the manager of OT7 Quanny and Elite Ward. We're rappers. They are rappers from Philly. So we're gonna get right into that.
We could get you a zip. We is not them to be played with. You know Double R had more chains than a slave ship. I'm a real mob member, nigga. This shit too in me. I don't think the law gon' forgive us. We got too many. Freak burner jam, baby shook now.
El hombre asesinado ayer en la placita de Santurce, identificado como Reyes de Jesús Rondón, de 27 años, residente en Filadelfia.
Al occiso se le ocupó una identificación falsa y sobre $3,000 en efectivo. La policía no descarta se trate de un ajuste de cuentas por drogas.
Los diablos de Lloren tenemos el caso bien prendido. Los títeres que matan gente ahora millonarios.
Patroncito, vamos muertito. La mafia más cabrón de Puerto Rico. Mandamos en fila y las 7 me mama el bicho. Tu hijo muerto tengo screenshot. No la que se equivoque. No venga a tu hijo y ya casi te quito el bloque.
The River Wards is a region in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, situated along the Delaware River, northeast of Center City. The term River Wards commonly refers to a collection of neighborhoods, including Fishtown, Kensington, Fort Richmond, and Old Richmond. Positioned at the boundary between North Philadelphia and Northeast Philadelphia, the area is sometimes classified as part of either or recognized as its own distinct section. It is also occasionally referred to as Kensington/Richmond. Kensington is a predominantly low-income, working-class neighborhood that saw rising poverty levels following the decline of its industrial base in the 1960s due to deindustrialization. Disinvestment and neglect have led to high rates of abandoned properties in some areas, prompting grassroots efforts from residents to address these challenges. At the same time, the southern sections of Kensington have undergone significant gentrification in recent years.
Life in Kensington is not easy, but it wasn't always like this. Back in the day, there was an economic boom in Philly, but a downturn in manufacturing happened here in the 60s and 70s, and those employment needs soon dried up. By 1975, about 75% of those industrial jobs and businesses were gone. Yes, life in Kensington definitely comes with a price.
Like many Philadelphia neighborhoods, Kensington lacks official boundaries, leading to variations in its definition across different sources and disputes among locals. Some neighborhoods within Kensington include East or Lower Kensington, West Kensington, and Harrogate. The nearby Fair Hills and Norris Square neighborhoods are sometimes considered part of Kensington, while Fishtown and South Kensington or Old Kensington were historically included. The most commonly accepted boundaries are Front Street and Fifth Street to the west, the Amtrak train track to the north, the Trenton Avenue train tracks and Frankfort Avenue to the east, and Cecil B. Moore Avenue to the south. The neighborhood is home to a diverse population, including large communities of Hispanic Americans, primarily Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, alongside African Americans, Irish Americans, Polish, and Asians.
It was the
Kensington
Irish
always
first.
has a significant homeless population.
Listen, it was before anything, it was the Irish. Let me get my mic right. Before anything, it was definitely the Irish.
South of Lehigh Ave, an influx of young urban professionals has contributed to increasing gentrification, especially in Old Kensington, Norris Square, and East Kensington. Fishtown, which was historically considered part of Kensington, has also experienced extensive redevelopment, but is now regarded as a separate neighborhood. Kensington is widely known for its open-air drug market, centered around the intersection of Kensington and Allegheny Ave.
Hence what I went through, me, for anybody just to recap, y'all know this is what I experienced.
2020, the area had become a hub for drug sales and use, with $1 billion drug market operating in public spaces such as McPherson Square, or as it's infamously known.
They said $1 billion. There was a bunch of $1 million blocks getting money for years.
In Philly, Needle Park. The neighborhood's struggle with the drug trade have drawn national and international media attention. Once a blue-collar factory neighborhood, Kensington was especially devastated when deindustrialization swept through the area in the 1950s. As a white population fled for the suburbs, Hispanic and African American people moved in, and with few investments from the city, the drug market filled the economic vacuum.
As low as you can go here, Kensington and Lehigh.
This is the neighborhood we used to live in. I wouldn't live here no more if I was you. The narrator is by Tasmanian Devil.
I'm gonna give me a fucking
This
flip.
is the dirty part of the Philadelphia.
Houses transformed into drug dens, factories into spaces to shoot up, and rail yards into homeless encampments. Most residents, many of them immigrant families who had to come to Kensington for a better life, did not have the means to move. In the early 2000s, Dominican gangs started bringing in Colombian heroin that was not only purer but much cheaper than the heroin imported from Asia, which historically predominated.
I mean, you have a big section, a pretty big section of Philadelphia that is just going down. I mean, these abandoned homes, people not able to keep their house up. I mean, you got people living in these, in these homes. I mean, they're being turned into shooting galleries. Crime happens, rape, muggings, prostitution.
We're surrounded by what was a heavy industrial area. And as you look around now, the factories are just shells. So the economy is gone.
Python!
In the Badlands, even the
early said Python is a stamp. He doesn't understand.
cops have street names. His is Batman.
Don't run. Y'all know the deal. Don't run. Ladies, don't run. Listen,
That's how that shit look, though. That's how that shit look.
Know who you are. I know who you are, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
All right, then. So if I wanted you, I could have you, right?
Right.
So we just viewing. Maybe this can help us get you some help. You know what I mean? If you ever decide you want some help.
Kensington's decentralized market kept competition high and prices low. Most corners were run by small, unaffiliated groups of dealers, making the area difficult to police. If a dealer was arrested, there was always someone there to replace him. The Philadelphia prison system
Facts. Hours later, like an hour later, by the next shift, they right back out there, right at the cop shit.
has become the largest provider of drug treatment in the city. The police have realized that they can't arrest the problem away, and they spend many of their calls reviving drug addicts with Narcan and overdose reversal spray. The DEA focused on the high-level drug traffickers, not the guys working on the street, but the arrests did little to curb the demand. It's known in Philly as the Badlands. Amber and Cambria is one of the corners in Kensington that has made a lot of money off the drug trade over the years.
We could get you a zip. We is not them to be played with. Double R had more chains than a slave ship.
This is Reyes de Jesus Rondon, known as Ruger Ray on the street. The nickname speaks for itself, as they didn't call him Ruger for nothing. He's from Belmore Street, right by Amber and Cambria. On December 7th, 2015, around 1:23 p.m., two Philadelphia police officers were conducting surveillance from the third floor of an old school building near the 2000 block of Rush Street in Philadelphia.
That's right there, Core and Rush. I used to work. That was like one of the first blocks that ever gave me a job. Was Core and Rush. That's the block they talking about. It's a school. That school sit right there on the corner of Frankfurt and Somerset.
One of the officers testified that the neighborhood was a, quote, high crime, high shooting area with a lot of narcotics and a lot of shootings, unquote. Police observed Ray, or Rondo, standing around with three companions about 50 to 75 feet away on the same side of the street below, near a Pontiac Grand Prix. The officers said he saw Ray reach into the Grand Prix and retrieve a black handgun and place it on the left side of his waistband and cover it up with his shirt. The two officers ran down to the street and approached Ray and the three others he was with their guns drawn. While one officer had the other three stand against the wall for a weapons pat down, the second officer ordered Ray to lie face down on the ground, handcuffed him, and retrieved a handgun, a Glock 23 .40 caliber semi-automatic. That officer testified that while Ray was handcuffed, he said he, quote, should have blasted us, and he didn't even get used to the gun yet, unquote. The police determined that Ray was not licensed to carry a firearm. They also confirmed that the handgun was stolen. Ray was arrested and charged with...
He said you should have blasted us. Like, damn, I didn't even get to use this joint yet.
Various VUFA, which is the violation of the Uniforms Firearms Act. Reyes de Jesus Rondon was born June 1st, 1995. Ray moved around a lot, but everywhere he lived was in the Kensington or Tioga section of the city. Ray hopped off the porch early and was selling drugs by the time he was 13. His first adult arrest was at the age of 19 and was for the gun case I just mentioned. Ray would stack up a few more gun and drug charges, but was always able to handle most of them without spending a significant time in prison. On September...
Listen, it's a story that he got booked. This tell you how long, man, how much paper he had. He got booked and his bail was 90 grand. His bail was 90 grand. And I'm telling you, he paid the bail. Like, listen, when they give you when you see the bail, people, and they give you the bail, and by the time they give you the call, you get on that bus going up to the county. Bro, he bailed out at the district, 90 grand.
November 18th, 2022, at around 1:35 a.m., two Philadelphia police
officers. That's a hood fact. That's a hood fact. It ain't like documented, but that's definitely a hood fact.
Officers responded to a radio call of a person with a gun at the intersection of Ditman and Longshore Ave. The police officers were in plain clothes and were also in an unmarked vehicle. The undercover cops said that they observed a black male who was armed with an AR-15 type.
Just elaborate on that. Being out there, man get his book. You think like, damn, he going sit and he's back home by the next day. Like, what the fuck? And we ain't talking no telling shit. We talking about bailed out.
A rifle walking alongside a Hispanic male. The officers observed two men standing near a red-colored Dodge Charger. The officers notified radio and stayed back to observe while they waited for uniformed officers to arrive on location. The two men entered the red Charger and left the area and turned east on Tyson Ave from Ditman. The first marked police car attempted to stop the vehicle on the 4600 block of Tyson Ave. They tried to conduct a traffic stop, but the Charger tried to go around the cops and it struck the back of the cop car. The red Charger sped off and a chase ensued. Additional police responded and also pursued the red Charger as it fled for several minutes at high rates of speed on I-95. The red Dodge Charger was being operated in a reckless manner with disregard for the safety of both police and civilian, it read in a police report. After several minutes, the pursuit was called off for safety reasons. The red Charger...
That means they must have been... just going crazy in that joint.
Was later located unoccupied minutes later at the corner of Janney and Monmouth Street by 24th District Police. The vehicle was placed on a property receipt and towed to the police garage. The black male who was seen initially by the undercovers holding the AR-15 type rifle was later located right back at Ditman and Longshore. He was identified and he had a valid permit to carry, the report read. He was found to be working as an armed security guard at the time. The suspect was developed when the undercovers and the officers from the 24th District spoke with each other. They developed Ray as a suspected driver based on testimony from the narc. They stated that they had seen photos of the male they claimed to see getting into the red Dodge Charger and that they positively identified the male as Ray as Rondo. Police concluded based on jewelry Ray was seen wearing that night and in Instagram photos that it was him. Based off this, Ray was charged with aggravated assault, simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, fleeing police officers, causing an accident/damage, and reckless driving. Now,
shit like that, he'll bail out.
All that the officers had in this case was the testimony of the undercovers. A lot of times that does tip the scales in court, but in terms of evidence, it was going to be a 50-50 shot here for Rondo. They called him Ruger Ray on the street.
Look, that was 300,000, right? So that's 10% of that is what, that's 10% of that is like, what, 30K?
Some called him Freaky.
Freak just bought a 911, we don't even call cops. Freak burn a jam, baby shook them.
His story isn't one of drill rap and self-snitching. It's one of relative secrecy, especially when compared to some of the other stories I cover on this channel. There is little info about the man they called Rondo before 2022 online. What I
his nickname is they call him Freak.
Could scrape together comes from family members willing to give small details here and there. But when it came to his street dealings, it was clear Ray kept his circle tight, and putting any of his affairs online was a no-no. In Kensington, when it comes to money, either you have a lot of cash or you didn't. Poverty was all around, but through selling drugs, Ray was able to live a flashy lifestyle and appear to rise above his circumstances.
Just to recap, word shit, main man used to be taking blocks. So in this Puerto Rican drug, amongst the people from PR and all that, amongst the Hispanic community, he was bullying shit.
Stand that
And
off.
then there was a feel that, and they started beefing. You know, now the drill scene coming up, and everything getting put on the internet.
All may have been an illusion, however. Sawa wasn't left much, if anything at all, after he passed. Ray was able to build his image and reputation by being a genuine, but no-nonsense type of hustler. There are stories of him doing what some might consider snake moves, but by most accounts, Ray was a stand-up dude. You don't cross him, and he won't cross you. But when it came to being a boss of a street corner in Kensington, being ruthless and aggressive was the only way to survive.
That's what they talk about, like how he was bullying shit and probably like just bullying shit basically. It was just that.
Out of respect for the fact that Ray or Rondo didn't put all of his business on the internet, and the fact that I cannot report on things I'm unable to confirm, this video will be a little light on details. However, what I can report on is what's on the internet. In 2022, with the video of Ray or Rondo on a corner in Kensington with his friend, being Fatty, started circulating. Fatty, who can be seen here with a baby face and riding dirt bike. In the video, Ray and Fatty are standing on an unidentified corner in Kensington, and a black truck pulls alongside them and starts shooting. At one point, Ray is seen reaching in his pocket while taking fire. He struggles to pull something out, and then lobs the object off screen. There's a lot of speculation on the internet as to what he tossed, with some suggesting it was a grenade, and some saying he threw his phone as a distraction attempt.
A grenade though?
Whatever he threw, he went right to
A
Instagram.
grenade would have been blue. Everybody, man, they'd have had National Guards in the building case.
And to troll his ops about missing him. Here you can get a glimpse of the type of attitude Ray took towards things that was going on. Not much is known about Fatty, except he was frequently with Ray, and on this occasion, both would escape with their life. Now, when it comes to beef, Ray was in deep. Whether it was holding down and taking or keeping control of drug corners or avenging murders, Ray was rumored in a lot of stuff. Los Diablos, or the Devils, is the Philly branch of a powerful and violent criminal group originating from Puerto Rico's Los Diablos de Llorens. This is a prison gang that gained notoriety in the 1980s and has become more powerful in the streets over the years.
I'm here to talk a little bit about the history of Nieta. Technical definition is never ever tolerate abuse.
Who was credited for creating it?
Carlos Torres Iriarte, better known as Carlos La Sombra. He was like a short, dark-skinned gentleman. He was humble. He isn't what you would picture as somebody who creates a movement. You know what I mean? And back in the prisons in Puerto Rico, there was a lot of abuses going on. When we say abuses, we mean like other men being other men, and people getting robbed, just anything that you consider an abuse, like somebody younger picking on somebody older that he can't defend himself or anything like that. You know what I mean? So he came up with the association Nieta. It was there was a couple people that were in charge. There was a guy named El Manota, and he was actually part of our association. And him and Carlos La Sombra had a falling out. And when that falling out happened, they parted ways with us. They fought, and it caused a big war in the jails of Puerto Rico. And ever since then, they've been against us, we've been against them. 27 insectos.
La presión. Pero los precios por chanteo que era un trabajo. Diablos matan por mí, si te pillan por ahí. Llevan 2 años soñando mi muerte. Me tirotearon en Philly 2 veces. El que lo hizo se murió hace.
Alright, so he was beefing with the Wayne out from what how I'm perceiving this. He beefing with them.
Pressure 9x19 is a Puerto Rican drill rapper from Kensington, more specifically Weymouth and Allegheny. He popped on the scene in 2023 with his song VVS.
Where you at?
Rican drill rap gets hundreds of thousands of views. Some videos get millions for artists like Pressure. Another Rican drill artist is Sombra.
Roteando esta guerra con lo que deja el perico. Cobro tu cabeza y en la music lo duplico. Patroncito, va muertito. Te pato la cara con mi Draco y lo repito.
Sombra and Pressure both rep Los Diablos. Sombra is the nephew of a popular producer on the island named Chronic Magical, who grew up with the artist named The Secret Weapon, who was a star on the island. Sombra grew up in Philly and learned the American street codes, where he fit right in. He learned how to drill rap, and his ties to Pressure and Los Diablos is what ties him to the story. Both artists are cool with Skrilla and YBC Duel. Los Diablos is a gang that alludes to dark religious vibes of Santeria and Palo, similar to Skrilla.
Vamos a ver quién es más guapo. Mencionando muerte en mis canciones, estoy flow Skrilla. Hablo miel de guac, estos puercos me están seteando. 4 chivos, fréndame.
Me quité contra Rico, estoy cazando con un chango. 10 peines en una glow y 4 son de 22.
Their main ops in Philly are 7th and Tioga, or La Siete. The 7th has ties to the islands as well. The drug trade was one route of making money for young men that moved back and forth between Philly and the island. Drill music is quickly becoming another. Puerto Rico is a beautiful island with an abundance of culture and history. A traveler's paradise today, Puerto Rico wasn't always as relatively safe as it is today. The existence of apparent no man's lands areas in which all manner of criminal activity could take place without any sort of police control among particularly lower class communities caused widespread concern in the 1980s. The use of automatic weapons and other arms to directly fight back against law enforcement became a popular problem as well. From 1993 to 1996, the government confiscated a total of 10,017 illegal firearms during their efforts. As well, the total number of murders in Puerto Rico nearly doubled from 1987 to 1994, increasing from 509 to 995 respectively. These trends received massive interest in the island's news media. Perceptions of widespread crime fueled political turmoil and increased pressure on authorities to intensify their efforts, often resulting in harsher anti-drug crackdowns. In the early 1990s, law enforcement expanded its focus to include white-collar drug users. A government chief of staff highlighted the issue, stating that police had witnessed, quote, housewives who go to these drug distribution spots with their children in the car, unquote, and vowed to send a strong message. This strict approach, known as the Iron Fist, became a defining policy. In 1993, Governor Pedro Rosselló enforced this stance, declaring they have incited a war and they'll get it. Let criminals know that our patience is gone. That year, 104 murders occurred in January
He sounded like Larry Crashman
alone. Efforts to combat crime included equipping police with more weapons and deploying the National Guard in targeted areas. Despite these aggressive measures, Puerto Rico struggled to curb drug trafficking and crime remained rampant. Between 1992 and 1998, the island's policing budget nearly doubled as the government imposed longer sentences, expanded law enforcement, and constructed new prisons. However, these measures failed to produce significant progress, and by 1997, a national poll revealed that 68% of Puerto Ricans believe crime had worsened significantly over the previous 5 years. In response, local law enforcement sought closer collaboration with U.S. federal agencies, particularly in combating drug trafficking. The U.S. Coast Guard and the Drug Enforcement Administration, or the DEA, expanded their presence on the island throughout the 1990s, forging partnerships that continued for years. However, persistent challenges, and particularly police corruption, complicated these efforts. The PRPD, or the Puerto Rican Police Department, the island's primary law enforcement agency, was frequently mired in scandals involving officer misconduct, including direct involvement in criminal activities. These issues further eroded public trust in the justice system and hampered efforts to effectively combat crime. In the early 21st century, police corruption in Puerto Rico contributed to a mass wave of drug-related crimes, leading to the arrest of over 30 law enforcement officers, At the time, Puerto Rico ranked 6th globally for murders per capita. This brings us to February of 2023. Ray was set to take a trip to Puerto Rico with his close friends, maybe for a meetup with a rap artist or manager. Ray was starting to make moves as a music manager. In 2022, he started to be seen with some of the hottest rap artists in the Philly drill scene like Leaf Ward and OG7 Quanny. Skrilla picking a side against Quanny might have something to do with this, or might not. But after Ray died, Skrilla and Quanny seemed to make up, so make of that what you will. Anyway, Ray could be seen in numerous Leaf and Quanny videos, like I said, and he was starting to make connections in the rap game.
I'm a real mob member, nigga, this shit too in me. I don't think Allah gon' forgive us, we got too many. The line don't count the money no more, I really could short him. I got some money now, when my brother fell, I just caught him.
His trip down to Puerto Rico was seen as a business trip. Only one problem, he wasn't gonna make it back.
Controlamos la calle, la metro Santurce, todas quieren los diablos llorar. Esquima adentro la disco y tengo la corte en el Saint Laurent.
Police reported on February 6, 2023 that the man killed on Tuesday in front of the iconic avocado trees.
That's his, listen, it's sad and like, it's sad for his family because they put this all over their social media. They actually like had the whole thing, like you go, it's on social media, it's crazy. If you go on Reddit and look it up, it's just sad like how what we come to with social media and how people are desensitized to like putting a dead body of like, you know, putting someone's loved one face, like they had just the whole thing on there. It's crazy.
In Santurce's Plaza was identified as 27-year-old Reyes de Jesus Rondon. Reyes, a Dominican living in Philadelphia, was identified as an artist manager in the Puerto Rican news reports. In the shooting, 2 people were injured by direct impact and 2 others by bullet fragments. Among the injured were 2 women and 2 men. None of the injured were identified and 2 of them were transported to a hospital, while the other 2 were treated at the scene and were not transported due to only having minor injuries. Agents assigned to the homicide division of the San Juan CIC took charge of the investigation together with the prosecutor on duty. A man was caught by news cameras being arrested about 20 minutes away, minutes after the shooting.
La policía dice que ellos están ahora investigando supuestamente 2 celulares que tenía la víctima en el momento de cuando ocurrió este crimen, y también ahora tienen bajo la mira lo que viene siendo un vehículo que ellos están investigando que posiblemente está vinculado a este crimen. La policía identificó a Reyes de Jesus Rondón como el hombre que fue encontrado mortalmente baleado este miércoles 8 de febrero en el popular establecimiento La Placita, en el sector de Santurce, en San Juan, Puerto Rico.
And they said this happened in like a high... Oh, I sound like a loud... What the hell? Wow, I'm telling you, forces be against me. This happened in a high... like a high tourist area, like a lot of crime going to happen in this area.
Rico encontraron su cuerpo baleado con cerca de 15 disparos. Según las autoridades de la isla, el hombre de origen dominicano, quien residía en Filadelfia, se identificaba como un supuesto manejador de artistas urbanos y revelaron que él no estaba solo cuando fue asesinado.
En cuando surgen las detonaciones, la persona que viene a rapar con él sale corriendo y la persona que hay muerta.
Esta tarde, familiares de la víctima llegaron hasta el Instituto de Ciencias Forense en Río Piedras para identificar el cadáver. La policía explicó que el hombre estaba hospedándose en un Airbnb en San Juan. Revelaron que este vehículo, que fue encontrado abandonado y quemado en Caimito, ahora se suma a los indicios de la investigación. Dicen que el auto podría ser el Honda en que los pistoleros se transportaban. Los detectives ahora buscan a la persona con quien Reyes se encontraba en Puerto Rico.
Si diéramos con esa persona, que la podemos entrevistar, nos puede arrojar luz de qué hacían en Puerto Rico, con quién se estaban relacionando, qué tipo de negocio estaban haciendo, si alguno, sí, sería sumamente importante.
Y aunque el motivo de la balacera aún está bajo investigación, las autoridades en San Juan le expresaron a nuestra cadena hermana de Telemundo en Puerto Rico que es posible que el crimen se trate de un ajuste de cuentas. Divulgaron que Reyes estaba siendo investigado por presuntos vínculos al narcotráfico.
Tenemos una información que no la hemos corroborado, pero sí se dice que estaba trabajando en grandes proporciones.
Mientras en Filadelfia existen documentos públicos que señalan que Rondón había sido arrestado en el pasado. Cabe destacar de que las autoridades en Puerto Rico dicen que van a estar trabajando con los agentes federales para poder esclarecer este caso. Nosotros, por nuestra parte, por supuesto, le vamos a estar trayendo cualquier novedad sobre este caso.
Back in Philly, almost immediately, a page called Philly Death Row had the gruesome picture of Ray laying on the steps of the plaza within hours of his death. Make up your own mind as to how this played out. How Ray is shot in Puerto Rico, and within hours, a Philly blog page has the pictures. Philly Death Row also had an immediate narrative fed to him by the people who sent him the picture, and as someone with no journalistic integrity, he immediately posted this possibly misleading and defamatory info. I'll show the post, and you can pause and read it if you want.
It's I can't say the name, Koala, Koala. Is a big drug lord from Kensington who is clicked up with Waymount. It was rumored that him and Rondo was beefing over bread territory, but Rondo was always deep and was hard to get him. He was always deep and it was hard to get him. Long story short, Rondo left and he went to Puerto Rico because Fatty had collabed with an artist from PR. Oh, our Fatty is the young boy. Oh, the boy Fatty collab with Chimmy. Wait. Fatty collab with Chimmy, who is clicked up with them. Oh, wow. He linked up with the ops. Supposed to be his homies. But this is why Confidential said this guy has no journal integrity or something like that, 'cause he didn't do his research. He's just saying this. But basically, he trying to basically pinpoint and say that the boy Fatty lined this and linked up with was supposed to link up with he is a manager, so he's managing Fatty. Fatty is clicking up with Chimmy. Chimmy is an artist of his ops. So they had to drop on him. So I'm gonna finish reading. Long story short, Rondo left the PR because Fatty had to collab with an artist from the PR named Young Chimmy. They ended up chilling with some people who were clicked up from Waymount, who is knowing this was the bull K. Perfect time ended up for him to take out his competitor. It did not took long for he couldn't even fucking write. It did not took long for K to make the call to finally catch Double R lacking in PR territory. The next day, he was on live moments before the incident.
But I wanted to be clear that this has not been vetted or verified at all by me, and it's not being reported by me. One thing that did pique my interest, however, that I could actually look into was a mention of an artist named Young Chimmy. Young Chimmy is a super mainstream artist from Puerto Rico, and his connection to Los Diablos was not apparent before Ray's murder. But after Ray's death, it became abundantly clear that Chimmy was associated with Ray's ops in Philly. Countless music videos have been released.
He wasn't saying it. They didn't even know. He was linking up with him, not even knowing he was linking up with his ops. That is crazy. That's what you gotta watch. Like, it's crazy when that having ops and all that, doing business, it's a bad situation because now you gotta watch how you do, who you do business with. Somebody can easily backdoor you. Easily.
By Pressure, Sombra, and Chimmy, with lyrics that can be interpreted as disses towards Ray.
And then dissing. And I bet the young boy Fatty, he didn't even know. I bet he didn't even know until the dude came out probably months later that, oh yeah, I'm El Diablo. They probably like, oh, That's deep. That's deep, yo.
Tenemos el caso y emprendido. Cambiamos el juego y ahora somos empresarios. Líderes que matan gente ahora millonarios.
Patroncito, vamos muertito. La mafia más cabrón de Puerto Rico. Mandamos en fila y las 7 me mama el bicho. Horrible, tu hijo muerto tengo el grincho. No venga a tu hijo y ya casi te quito el bloque. Roteando esta guerra con lo que deja el perico. Cobro tu cabeza y en la music lo duplico. Cabrón, no le paro, soy el nene de mis patrones. Le juro por mami que a su hijo que me emblone.
Por ti palo y no te duermas, mi alma, aquí todo el mundo vive en guerra. Si te vemos por Santurce, la iglesia van a asegurarse que no vuelva.
Con 200K por mi cabeza y no me matan, me quieren dar.
Damn, they paid 200K.
Yo en casa en la nota de.
Hey, let's go. Appreciate the follow, gang. I couldn't even see the name. I just seen, appreciate the follow. Thanks for pulling up.
Si me pasan el ticket, cabrón, con tu contrato. Salimos a casar, está vestido de tecato.
These connections led me to believe that Chimmy knows more than he leads on. His superstar status might lull some people into a false sense of security that he's all about business and harmless. Chimmy was seen with this post a day after Ray's shooting. Fatty was again with Rondo when he was shot at, but if you're with someone all the time, that isn't that crazy of a coincidence, as some others has suggested. One thing is obvious, is that whatever Ray had going,
I don't think Young Boy knew that the rapper was linked up with them. I don't think he knew. It's just a coincidence that he was with him when he got shot, and he was with him when he was out there when he got allegedly when he got killed, or the link up. I don't think that Young Boy lied to you though.
on, he was way in over his head. Getting picked off on an island is wild, and I don't even think I need to say that me speculating on what happened would be way out of order. What we do know is that he had a lot of people in Philly that loved him, but also had a lot of enemies with the reach to different parts of the states like Puerto Rico. Ruger Reyes Rondo left behind 2 kids and a fiance. After he died, RIPs and tributes came pouring in from friends and family. A really good tribute song was made by Forloso mourning his fallen friend.
I can't believe you're gone. It's been so long. I'm still trying to come to terms with your death. It ain't working, no, it hurt me when I saw the pastor pulling back that curtain. I took my brother out the game, I wish that I could trade him back. Ain't no wine in this shit, that's why they hit you in your back. No, I got the kids, I'ma make sure that they stay on track. I'ma tell your son, I better never catch you in the trap.
However, with so many loose ends left, rumors and speculation of course started to fly. Not only Philly Death Row, but the Reddit started going crazy as well. Post after post speculating on what happened, pointing fingers, and people throwing red herring.
It said, I was there at San Juan Smokehouse about 100 meters away. I heard 2 bursts of 40 automatic on fire. And it's crazy to like he only got hit one time, but patrons and staff ran to the kitchen thinking it was just beginning. Cops arrived in minutes. Man, hold up. I'm gonna go back, yo. I'm gonna shoot what the people said.
That's why they hit you in your back. No, I got the kids, I'ma make sure that they stay on track. I'ma tell your son, I better never catch you in the trap.
However, with so many loose ends left, rumors and speculation of course started to fly. Not only Philly Death Row, but the Reddit started going crazy as well.
It said that boy getting shot, trolling about it. One of the niggas out PR said Brady was with Rondo, he probably backdoored him.
Post after post.
It said, don't understand how you get parked in PR and the crystal clear picture is sent to Philly Death Row in 7 hours. That's crazy.
Speculating on what happened.
It said, what do old head even do? Nigga just popped out of nowhere. Now he lead manager. And then they locked in the fuck. Where the hell he even come from? He was out Kensington. He started wanting to invest money. Yeah, he was getting money.
pointing fingers, and people throwing.
And all these people was a fan. Like, you be in Kensington and you'll hear Leaf Ward playing. Like, cars riding past Bumblebee. Leaf was hot. But that's the end of that. Listen, chat. Y'all know what time it is. It's a lot of time. Feel me? And for my new people, at the end of each stream, I play a beat that I produced, that I made, you know, and we just close off the stream. So, we're gonna do this one. This is. Hold on, y'all. Oh, come on, man. Why I can't? Listen, chat. Y'all should be, hold up. Y'all should be here. But if y'all don't, we gonna close it out. Listen. It's your boy, Kensington Picasso here. I just want to say, y'all been a blessing. Every day is a blessing. If this is too loud, listen, that beat, if it's too loud, I feel like it's too loud. So we gonna run that back. Listen. It's your boy, Kensington Picasso. This is Art of Addiction. Listen, every day we gotta keep striving. Sobriety is the mission. Every day you gotta stay focused. You gotta take one foot and the other foot, put it in front. Every step counts. Every moment of sobriety is a clear mind. But listen, every time is double time. You gotta keep motion. You gotta keep your mind focused. You gotta keep your mind working. You got a hobby. You gotta take up a hobby. You gotta train your mind not to think about getting high. You gotta think about those dark times. Think about those dark times of the addiction. You don't want to go back and keep pushing forward. Yeah, man. Listen. Let's go. Tap in with me, y'all.